Let's get in it. Let's spend some play points, baby. Alright guys, so the idea here is we're going to be doing some vintage cube drafts and then playing SolForge in between those drafts and doing a SolForge draft at the same time. Probably won't do the actual drafting process at the same time because I think that might be too much for my little brain to handle. What do we want here? There's always... I seem to get balance as like my only power card of choice, and it's just calling to me. But this card isn't like super great. You don't want it in aggro or control, really. If Sylvan Library to draw us some cards while we play green, Snapcaster Mage to flashback Ancestral Recall and Time Walk, and still be a pretty powerful spell. So I think Snapcaster Mage goes into enough that I'm willing to take it here. If it's a control deck, it's good. If it's like a ramp deck, it can still give you a rebuy on something really powerful. Maybe it's because I just played Grixis at my LGS's Modern tournament last night, but I'm going to take Snapcaster Mage. I'm in a Snapcasting kind of mood right now. Gitaxian Probe goes along with Snapcaster. Izzet Charm is a really good, flexible spell that is always good. We could grab a Flooded Strand or a Polluted Delta. Pack Rat, I think, might be good as well. It is just a solid card, and then it also just happens to like enable reanimation strategies while still being like a really, really good card. There's a Sword, which is interesting, and Izzet Charm, which keeps us in blue-red. So do I want Polluted Delta over the Pack Rat? I think I'll take it here. It means that we're going to be unlikely to get too many fetch lands, because we're passing up two really good blue fetch lands here. Thada's also sweet, but I think Pack Rat's strong. I don't know. We'll see if I'm wrong on that one. We could grab Bazaar of Baghdad. You grab Splinter Twin and just lock that in early. Ugin's also good. Nicol Bolas is probably too early to pick up here. Worn Power Stone's pretty good as well. Bitter Blossom and Sword. Guess that's the problem with Cube. All these cards are good. Splinter Twin seems pretty sweet to just lock that in this early in the draft. We're in the colors for it, theoretically. That'll make me focus on mana fixing, spot removal spells. It's a pretty straightforward thing. The only other thing I could do would just be take Ugin, which I think is also a really good card. So I'm definitely between Ugin and Sword of Fire and Ice here. Or, I'm sorry, Ugin and Splinter Twin. I think let's grab Ugin, because I'm going to play Ugin regardless. Even if I don't wind up in red, I'll still wind up playing Ugin. And it just makes me want to grab Signets, which are already really good. Hedron Archive, maybe a little bit more synergistic with Ugin, but I'm fine taking this as well. So we've got a solid reanimation target. Shardless Agent. Ral Zarek, I don't think really does much. Untap another target permanent. It's like a ramp spell, kind of. We grab this in case we do decide to go into red. It's reasonable mana fixing, and I think I'm just going to grab it. I don't really love any of the other cards here, so we'll go ahead and grab that. Then we can grab Bayou Taiga, Necro. Oh, we do have another Signet, and it's potentially on color if we do wind up in Grixis. Yeah, none of these other cards are, like, that bad that we're missing up on. Necro's obviously really good. Sun Titan and Thrun, obviously all super powerful, but yeah, Rakdos Signet seems sweet. Then what do we want? I guess I'll keep it going with Ephemeral and just pick up the mana fixing. I really don't love any of these other cards, especially if we want to play the cards that we've already drafted, which I think are powerful enough to potentially try to lean on here. Crater Claws is a big X-Spell. Sidisi is a big ball of nothing. Grab Scrubland for the eventual splash. I guess I could grab Hangerback Walker. It's a reasonable control tool, and it's just a big, dumb, colorless thing that we can play. Yeah, I guess I'll wind up playing Hangerback Walker regardless, so that's reasonable. The Goblin Guide Wield, Stomping Ground's still here. We could go Trigon Predator. We could grab a Faithless Looting, which could do some work, or a Duplicant to just be a big, colorless threat. So, yeah, definitely between Faithless Looting and Duplicant here. Let's go for Duplicant. I think I can support the red pretty easily, though I'm still not totally convinced I'm in red. Baneslayer and Emiria Angel, both super strong, and Mana Gorger might even be the next strongest card in the pack, but Diabolic Edict is fine. It's a spell that we can snapcast, and it'll give us a little bit more controlling tools. Right now we're like kind of Grixis control, especially if we can pick up a Nicol Bolas here. Show me Bolas! Alright, waiting for a player to pick a card. This always makes me nervous. When I see the timer on 0, I'm like, alright, I'm just going to get a random card added to my collection right now. Okay. Did I get a random card? I did not get a random card, and I still have 20 minutes, or 20 seconds, and Worn Power Stone is still in the pack. That's crazy. I was considering picking up Worn Power Stone the first time this pack came around. That's definitely going to put us in a good way towards just, like, big artifact dumb shit. Take a Raging Ravine or a Deathrite Shaman. Neither of these are too powerful. We could splash white and have a tutor for the Kiki Cheeky, but that's like crazy talk. Let's take Deathrite Shaman. Alright, and then Shardless Agent. I guess we'll just pick it up, just in case. We do have the Simic Signet to kind of do some stuff there. Don't think we want to go with Tangle Wire. We probably don't want Rishadan Port either, but maybe we're just hate drafting a Rishadan Port here. And I will take a Student of Warfare as our last pick, because that's the only option that we were given. Mox Sapphire, that is a pretty one. Let's see, what could we potentially hope to wheel in this pack? This pack's pretty good. It's got a Monastery Mentor. I wouldn't mind playing the Rakdos Return or the Tezzeret the Seeker, actually. We don't have an artifact that's like insane to tutor up, but I think we could get there. Tezzeret the Seeker can just turn into Solemn Simulacrum. That's insane. It can also just -0 to go get the Mox Sapphire if you don't already have it, or -0 to go and get the Black Lotus. We're definitely taking Mox Sapphire here, though. Mox are super OP, so I'm definitely happy to pick that one up. Creepy Tar Pit to complete our trifecta of Grixis lands. We also have a single uncolored Signet. More Signets are going to make the Ugin a lot easier to cast. There are also two really powerful cards in this pack, though. Treachery is a free control magic. You just untap 5 lands. Then we also have Goblin Welder, which I feel like is kind of what this deck wants to be doing. Leaning towards Treachery, to be honest. I think Treachery winds up doing more. Then we could just take Golgari Signet, and like we're not even all in on Pack Rat and Snapcaster Mage yet, though I think they're good. Right, Goblin Welder does work with those cards as well. I think Treachery is just more powerful, and I'm going to pick it up. This is kind of like a controlling deck. Phyrexian Arena's good, Watery Grave is good, Ponder gives us a card to play with Snapcaster Mage. Lodestone Golem slows them down a little bit, but I think I'm just going to play Watery Grave. It's not super exciting, but Mana fixing's always good. You always have enough cards in your cube draft. So this will help us splash those red cards that we see. We're not going to be getting a Splinter Twin this draft, but we are going to be playing some other sweet cards. So I think we can make something work here. Strip Mine, super powerful. We can take another Signet. I can grab Anticipate or Disfigure or even Electrolyze potentially to go along with this Snapcaster that we have. I don't really see anything that crazy about just snapping off another Signet here. Like, Ugin is such an expensive card that we might just want to get there. Mox Sapphire, Signet as a turn 1 play is also really insane. Mox Sapphire, Anticipate, not that bad of a turn 1 play. But mana is just so powerful. That's like how you cast your spells, right? Alright, we'll grab another Signet. This brings our Signet count up to 3. A pretty healthy 3 on the Signet count. We can grab a Dismember, which is actually castable in the deck. If we take the Breeding Pool, we might consider Shardless Agent or probably not Deathwing Shaman. We don't have any fetch lands. Not going to be able to play Garruk. I could take Mana Confluence, which is solid mana fixing. So what's better, Mana Confluence or Dismember? Or Overgrown Tomb or Breeding Pool? Is there any reason to grab Flame Tongue Kavu? No, let's grab Mana Confluence in our colorless deck. Mishra's Workshop only for artifact spells. It's that or like Lightning Bolt, because Delver of Secrets is no bueno in this deck. Armageddon is kind of interesting with all of the Signets, and oh no, only one of our Signets casts it right now. I feel like Mishra's Workshop could be interesting. You'd need to get a lot more to make it work, but we could just prioritize artifacts over everything. I've never really even seen this be good in Cube Draft, so for that reason alone, I'm willing to be the hero that we all need and try to make Mishra's Workshop work in Cube. So if we're trying to make Workshop work in Cube, Workshop work, we could grab Olivia Voldaren. That's a really strong control card. Dark Confidant is awkward with the other stuff we're trying to do. Smokestack is weird because you don't really need to play it super early to have it be effective. Ichikron Scepter is an artifact. It'll work well when... I mean, it works decently with Diabolic Edict, but just not great. Could splash Oath because I'm not playing that many other creatures here. I think I want Olivia Voldaren, though. That was kind of a close one there. I think we want it because we're like kind of Grixis, maybe. If my opponent's playing creatures, it doesn't look like they can win against us right now. Mishra's Workshop doesn't work with Ugin, which is obviously a bummer. Take Riftwing Cloudskate, Sower of Temptation, Shriek Maw, Chain Lightning, all solid control cards. I think we'll just try to take control of all their creatures. Is that a reasonable plan? Just take control of all their creatures draft? Marsh Flats does open up Watery Grave, so Marsh Flats is a reasonable pick here. Though, I feel like we want to take Tezzeret the Secret and try to get a little bit back onto this artifact theme again. Rakdos Return I do think is strong. Marsh Flats would be playable in our deck. But let's try to untap some artifacts, and we get the Goblin Welder. So we definitely want to be Grixis at this point, and I think we can make something work with this. We'll just take a Lodestone Golem, because it's an artifact. None of these other lands work that well for us, and Mishra's Workshop, Lodestone Golem, we could make something happen there. We could do it up. If we get a lot of green mana fixing, Huntmaster's playable. Though, I don't really think we need it. This gets an enchantment. We're not playing any enchantments. This destroys artifacts. We're playing a lot of artifacts. I guess we hate draft the artifact hate. We're not going to play Stirring Wildwood. but I don't think I care about Linvala. Linvala is just a big creature for us to steal. So, what? We've got some artifacts, we've got some big mana spells, Lotus Bloom, doesn't really do that much. Basalt Monolith gets played off Mishra's Workshop, but it doesn't get untapped off Mishra's Workshop. That said, I still think I like it here. There's nothing else that really sticks out for Grixis. I guess Frantic Search is pretty good and goes along with Goblin Welder. Alright, yeah, Frantic Search is actually probably better. Let's pick that up. We can take a Mind Twist as a getcha. We can take a Sundering Titan or a Show and Tell as a way to cheat a Fatty Boom Boom into play. I don't think Show and Tell typically winds up being that strong, but I do think Sundering Titan is typically pretty good. Is it better than Mind Twist? I think we can get away with Sundering Titan here. I guess we really don't want Mishra's Workshop. What we want is Metalworker. But you can just, like, Goblin Welder in and out Sundering Titan, and that can do a lot of work against a lot of different decks. So, that's pretty strong. Sheldock Isle as just a solid card, or we could grab Bloodstained Mire or Steam Vents as really good mana fixing. As much as I like the good mana fixing here, I think Sheldock Isle is just a little bit sweeter. You almost always get there, so I think we will. We currently only have one spell for Snapcaster Mage, and why the hell is a Time Walk still in this pack? Ask and you shall receive. I would like a spell, please, to be able to cast with my Snapcaster Mage. Oh, you would? Alright, how does a Time Walk sound to you, no luck's given? A Time Walk sounds great. So we'll pick up a Time Walk. We can Torrential Gear Hulk our Time Walk if we really want to. I don't think we really want to. Kuldotha Forgemaster is a sweet card. We've got a lot of artifacts already, so I do think Kuldotha Forgemaster is where we want to be. Toxic Deluge is really good. Oh, wait, Ancient Tomb. Fast mana. Oh, geez. I think I have to take Ancient Tomb here. And I think maybe I can get Kuldotha Forgemaster back. This is an artifact as well. That's pretty silly. Yeah, I think I take Ancient Tomb and hope that maybe Kuldotha Forgemaster or Toxic Deluge comes back around to us. Ancient Tomb is so strong. We've got all those signets. It's going to be really good with all of those as well. Trinket Mage can get Hangerback Walker or Mox Sapphire. That's probably enough to try to make work with him. None of these other cards are great. Let's Trinket Mage it up. Chandra, just okay. Because of the double red, I think, being a little bit prohibitive for us. Chrome Mox is reasonable. It'll count as another land in our deck. Mizzium Mortars is meh. Repeal, does that do anything? I think Repeal might do some things, and it gives us a card to cast with Snapcaster in a pinch. We also are going to have enough mana that paying the X I don't think will be a big problem. And I don't think we want to be Chrome Moxing here. So we'll take that. What does this Tezzeret do? You can make your artifacts into 5/5s. I guess that's pretty good. We've got a lot of artifacts that I would not mind being 5/5s here. Time Walk with Planeswalkers, even though two of our Planeswalkers are the same, I think Time Walk with Planeswalkers is still pretty powerful. The other card we would be taking is the Abyss, which doesn't destroy artifact creatures, so it's kind of a decent control card. Let's take the Abyss. It's not going to destroy that many of our stuffs, So, yeah, it's actually pretty good here, I think. Then we could take Lotus Bloom or Mishra's Factory. How good is Lotus Bloom? It means on turn 4 we can play Ugin. Is that enough of a reason to take it? Otherwise, we can discard it with Frantic Search. We don't have the Faithless Looting, but we do have the Frantic Search. So, that seems fine. Could take Rift Bolt as like our... as a potentially controlling card. Maybe we want this against an aggressive deck. Sure. We'll take Rift Bolt and sideboard it. And I will take a Bloodstained Mire here. I think it's better than Abbott. And yeah, helps our mana fixing, which we desperately need. Pithing Needle's an artifact. That could even be main deckable in this format. We can tutor for it with Tezzeret. So we'll grab that. And then I think, yeah, Forge Master was in this pack. So we didn't get a Forge Master, and somebody else is doing the same shit as we're doing. I'll take Brimaz. Each vampire... whatever. Yeah. Though maybe we didn't want the Abyss because we're actually planning on stealing their creatures. Not sure if we're going to play Dark Confidant. We've got 8 lands and a Mox Sapphire. So we've got 9 lands, so this is a 25 card deck, so we've got to make 2 cuts. I think we're going to cut the Workshop regardless. We might cut Dark Confidant, though. The converted mana cost, total converted mana cost of the cards in our deck is also pretty low. We are pretty much just splashing for Olivia and Goblin Welder, and we're splashing off a Firmarole, a Lava Claw Reaches, a Mana Confluence, and a Bloodstained Mire, as well as a Rakdos Signet. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red sources already. So it's a pretty good amount of red sources. We might play a second mountain, but I don't think we need to. Do we want to play Lotus Bloom? Lotus Bloom's good with Dark Confidant. Alrighty. Here's our X spells too. Don't want to forget about them. This is like a 4-drop, maybe a 2-drop. It's probably a 4-drop considering how many signets we have. We can even count it as a 6-drop. What the hell? So, I'm sorry. Again, just to catch myself up now, we've got 7 lands. So we're looking at 26 cards, but this is a land, so 25 cards. We probably want to cut down to 24 or 23. We can probably play 24, one of which is Lotus Bloom. So what does that mean? I want to cut 2 cards. Let me do that math again. 8 lands, so we've got 25 cards. Yeah, so I just really want to cut 1 card. Is Dark Confidant too big of a game? Trinket Mage got even better with the addition of Pithing Needle and Lotus Bloom, I think. The Abyss actually, I think, might have just been the wrong pick, and maybe we don't get too proud here and we just cut the Abyss. We've got a lot of ways to steal their creatures, though if I'm just sacrificing a Pack Rat token every turn and they're sacrificing a real creature, eventually we lock them out of the game and then we can start making multiple Pack Rats. So we do have outs to that, but I don't think it's too great at the same time. So what if we just did something like this? Or what if Olivia is just too hard to cast? We don't worry about Olivia, and we do play the Abyss. Target non-artifact creature. Alright, so we do have to target. I was curious if this worked in a weird way where, like, if you had an artifact creature, you just avoided it. But that would probably be a pretty bad card on the other side of things. What do you guys think? Abyss or no Abyss? I think we cut Abyss, and then this gives us a... so this is 9 lands. This would be 21 cards. Oh, we actually can play the Abyss, right? We only had to cut 1 card, so if we just cut the Dark Confidant, this is good enough. If we're counting all of these as lands, that's 9 lands. Yeah, alright. This will work out good enough. Wants us to add 1 mountain, 2 swamps, and 6 islands. That seems pretty reasonable. So let's go ahead and add this to deck and then submit. Alright, and looks like everybody has submitted here. Oh, I saw your comment too late there, Ginyu. I shipped the Abyss and yeah, decided against it. Whoopsie. I meant to take a screenshot so that we'd have a screenshot of the deck here. Won the die roll, so let's play first. We can do like turn 3 or something duplicate and then not play anything ever again. We'll keep this though. Or I guess it wouldn't be turn 3 duplicate, it'd be turn 4 duplicate. But the mana's good. We've got the Lotus Bloom. We're going to be able to cast whatever we draw. Oh, you're saying you don't even know what the Abyss does, but it's just a sweet name. Fair enough. The Abyss makes each player sacrifice a creature at the start of their turn. And it doesn't make people sacrifice artifact creatures, so the fact that our deck is mostly artifacts winds up being a pretty nice synergy there. The one thing I do miss from Soulforge while playing Magic the Gathering online... Why did I not suspend Lotus Bloom? Oh god. Alright, my opponent will think I just drew it. That's fine. Alright, that's pretty silly. I wish I could, like, check my deck and take a look at my deck as I was playing the game, but unfortunately can't do that in Magic. I'll F6. Can always yield to this Bloom trigger. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah, alright, we can play Celestia Signet here and then play out Worn Power Stone. Cool. Alright, so we have all the mana in the world. Now we just have to find something to do with it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Oh god. Count my mana, find out it's 7, and then be unable to play Ugin because you didn't suspend Lotus Bloom on turn 1 for absolutely no reason. So we can play Tezzeret. It's going to wind up being a ramp spell, a pseudo ramp spell for us. So I think we shall do that. No, that's too much. We don't need to tap Rakdos Signet. Yeah, we just need to tap both of those. And we can play Tezzeret the Seeker We're not playing around Mana Leak or anything, but still get to play him, and then we can get in with Lava Claw Reaches here as well. He's a pseudo-ramp spell of choice. We could also just minus X him to go get a Mox Sapphire. However, if we tick him up, that is going to mean that we like almost have lethal next turn even. We can turn our artifacts, all of our artifacts, into 5/5s, and the cost of... Yeah, this guy's pretty good, actually. The cost of the ultimate is only... He can ult the turn after he comes into play by ticking up. The uptick kind of protects himself, though not really. He can almost protect himself with the down tick as well. Oh, I will have lethal next turn because this is a very weird interaction, but Lotus Bloom should have haste. Ooh, that's weird. Will this have haste? I am a magic judge, but I feel like I need a judge right now. Alright. Let's see. Do non-creatures suspended gain haste? My opponent is tanking real hard on this Tezzeret here. He definitely has to counter this if he can. If he's got, like, a cancel or something. Alright, he's got straight-up counterspell. He counters it, and we don't have to worry about Lotus Bloom. If Lotus Bloom will have haste, then we can just pass the turn over. I think Lotus Bloom gets haste, though. I am pretty sure. Alright, we really want to draw a land next turn that isn't Wandering Furmarole. Oh, never mind. We're going to be unsuspending Lotus Bloom, so we don't really need a land. Opponent is getting rid of a dual caster to play a Tamiyo, and they're going to tap down our Worn Power Stone. We can Ugin to kill their Tamiyo. Oh, they're going to tap down Lava Claw Reaches. That protects Tamiyo as well, I guess. Alright, so we have to decide how we want to kill Tamiyo. We can Lightning Bolt it twice. Tap target permanent. Alright. So we can Lightning Bolt it twice, which will tick Ugin up. Or we can just kill it, get rid of it for good. I think we want to tick Ugin up and start threatening that ultimate. We can tick it up. It'll put Tamiyo down to 2. Then he'll tick Tamiyo up again, and we'll be able to finish it off with Ugin. If we draw Time Walk, Treachery, that makes this pretty safe, though, as well. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okie dokie. Let's make some blue manas. Alright, that should be enough. Spending the full Wooburg on Ugin here. And let's Ugin them and redirect to Tamiyo. And we'll have Tamiyo dead next turn. If this backfires, we've got the way to take control of 2 of our opponent's creatures. So I think we're in a pretty good spot. Our opponent ticks up Tamiyo, targeting Worn Power Stone this time. Yeah, I thought they were going to do it on Worn Power Stone last turn, but we still had the ability to cast Ugin into that. Time Walk. That's pretty good. I'm going to save Time Walk for the turn we ultimate Ugin, though. And I think that that will probably be lethal. And yeah, let's activate Lava Claw Reaches and get in with it. Alright, activate Lava Claw Reaches. And we're just going to get in for 3 here. If I just activate Lava Claw Reaches and then Time Walk. It would be really safe to Time Walk here. But if we just Time Walk post Ugin, that's going to be so good for us. Alright, plus X and... Get in here! Boom. Take you down to 16 because of your Flooded Strand. Alright, looks like they're going to have some type of effect for this. Oh, they're going to kill us. Wait, no, are they trading? Because I already attacked with this guy. Okay, they're going to untap their island. They definitely don't want to trade when they can... They can kill Ugin with this. Or, okay, so they're Pestermiting, and then they're going to hope to draw Splinter Twin. They've got 2 draw steps to do it. And we may have just fucked up. Alright, there's the Splinter Twin. So that is GG there. I mean, I didn't have any instants anyways. We'll concede for my opponent here. We didn't have any instants, so it's not that crazy that we did that. Do we have any instant speed spells in our sideboard? Doesn't look like we do. We could Kusali Pride Mage it. Olivia Voldaren acts as an interesting card to be able to counter what they're doing. We could board out something like Sower of Temptation and board in Olivia Voldaren just for the instant speed of it. I mean, a big part of that game was me not suspending Lotus Bloom turn 1 for absolutely no reason. Pithing Needle, we can name Pestermite so far. That's the one that we've seen. Right, Olivia, I'd only have to theoretically keep open 1 mana if they're just going to combo off with Pestermite. So maybe we grab Olivia here and cut Sower. Though Sower's a lot easier to cast. I also just realized Treachery isn't that insane if I don't have 5 lands. Which I definitely did not have 5 lands that game. I had 3. But I think we can make this work. We've got a Worn Power Stone. When we Worn Power Stone, we can Trinket Mage and then go get the Mox. This hand's pretty slow, though. Let's mulligan. Alright, now we have the Mox. We can just turn 1 Pack Rat, and then if we draw a land, we can keep the Pack Rats coming. This seems good. Turbo Pack Rat, Vintage Cube. It really puts into perspective how much of a menace Pack Rat is when... Let's bottom this. How much of a menace Pack Rat is when... Just gonna grab Watery Grave, pay 2 life, and play a Pack Rat. When you lose to it in Vintage. Like, this card's powerful in Vintage, and this was a card, like this, not this exact play, but a play pretty similar to this one could be made in just actual Return to Ravnica sealed deck. So, yeah, that's kind of silly. If I don't draw a land, I guess I just play Hangerback Walker. If I do draw a land, I could Trinket Mage, or I could just make a rat. Trinket Mage is a pretty reasonable play, though. Let's see. Oh, I drew a land, but it's a Shelldock Isle. So, yeah, we'll Shelldock. We'll see what we get. Treachery seems like a good card to keep under the dock. Seems like a real good card. Let's get in for 1 with the rat. And then I think I will just play Hangerback Walker post-combat here. Alright, for X equals 1. Fair enough, Ginyu. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, it's hard, especially if you've never played Magic, to understand what the hell's going on in Vintage Cube. Um, and there's a little bit too much going on for me to try to explain it all. Alright, what's my opponent's 2-drop? It is an answer for the Pack Rat. So now we are all in on Hangerback. The one thing would have been good. I'm not sure. The card that makes 2 mana. I forget what it's called. Let's play Trinket Mage. I think we want to go and get Pithing Needle here. And I think Pithing Needle is just safer than Lotus Bloom. Lotus Bloom's not that likely to come up. But we can play Pithing Needle defensively at some point, and I'm just going to keep powering up Hangerback Walker when we have the mana to do so. Next turn, I think we might play Tezzeret and get in there for 4. It seems like I'm so much farther ahead than my opponent, and like it feels like my opponent's done nothing all game, and I've played so much shit, and that's a little bit just because of the mocks, I suppose. If Pithing Needle can make it so that we can survive 9 more turns, then we get to Treachery. Maybe even less turns than that. Right, Tezzeret can just go get the Lotus, which is also super sweet. Ooh! Whoa, okay. So next turn, I draw a land, play Tezzeret, swing for 4, or I'm sorry. Yeah, play Tezzeret, sure. Swing for 4, and then post-combat untap Mox Sapphire Hangerback Walker with Tezzeret's +1, and then I can activate Hangerback Walker. That's pretty cool. Alright, my opponent plays a land. They don't have Counter Magic open. Maybe they were debating if they wanted to keep it open. But yeah, we're going to do what I just said. We're going to get in for 4. My opponent also can't electrolyze or anything right now, so get in for 4, put you down to 15s. Drawing the mountain is pretty sweet too. And putting my opponent to 15... You know what? We actually threaten lethal if we play Pithing Needle. I guess I will play Pithing Needle. I will name something other than Tezzeret the Seeker. I just have to name... I guess I'll just name Deceiver Exarch. But yeah, this is... I think that'll be a little bit better for us. It threatens lethal next turn with Tezzeret's ultimate. We can turn Pithing Needle, Hangerback Walker, and Mox Sapphire all into 5/5s. That will make Hangerback Walker a 7/7, and we would hit my opponent for 19. Alright, so Mountain, Teziwezi. Force Spike. Okay. Well, Hangerback Walker is one of the better cards usually to play around Force Spike, but unfortunately that was not the case tonight. Alright, my opponent has a Mox. Do they have a Tamiyo? Looks like they've got a Riftwing Cloudskate. They're going to bounce Hangerback Walker, which doesn't really slow us up that much. If we draw a land, we can even just replay him for the same amount. We didn't draw a land. We drew a Celestia Signet, though. So we can run that out there and then just play hanger back for 2 at the same time. Guess I'll crash in with Trinket Mage as well. A Splinter Twin on a Riftwing Cloudskate is still kind of annoying. I don't think my opponent will go for that here. Alright, X equals 2. Sounds good. No days. We're good. Now my opponent can Electrolyze or Tamiyo. Splinter Twin would still be pretty interesting. Just 7 more turns and we get a free Treachery, which I think will make it pretty difficult for our opponent to beat us. We just have to keep open Treachery, and we can steal their combo if they ever try to combo off. Phyrexian Metamorph, gonna copy Riftwing Cloudskate, leave open Counter Magic. Alright, so now they're gonna counter Hangerback Walker when I try to recast it here. They're going to get us for 2. Yeah, they probably are just going to counterspell it, considering they paid the 2 Phyrexian mana. I would say that that is pretty likely. I will play Ancient Tomb, but I'm not going to tap it. How much is that? That's 4 mana. We'll play him for X equals 3, but that's it. I think it would be pretty crazy here if my opponent didn't have Counterspell. Yeah. No reason to Pithing Needle here either. It does open us up into potentially some counter magic for Pithing Needle. Exile the top card or 4 damage to a creature. Well, that's what we're going to be Pithing Needling then. Our opponent's not going to get to draw any more cards off of that. Our opponent can kill us in 8 turns. Right? That's the math? Or no, it's 4. So they can kill us in 4 turns, which means we won't draw Treachery in time. But we've got other sweet cards in our deck. Goblin Welder, not included amongst our potential sweet cards that we can draw, but it doesn't really do much for us here. So Chandra, Torch of Defiance, I think is what we're going to type in. Yeah, Chandra, Torch of Defiance. Oh, right, the Pithing Needle. We do have some good ones in my deck. Sundering Titan could get the things rolling. Having an artifact in the graveyard means that I will be able to start looping stuff. Alright, how do I do this here? I just type it, right? Chandra... No, I have to type it really fast. Alright. Chandra Torch. Okay. That is the weirdest thing in the world. Agent of Bolas. I don't even know what Agent of Bolas does, and I don't think I read it when it was in the pack. Oh, it was Tezzeret Agent of Bolas. Yeah, no, it would have been good. I did say during the deck building part of it that that's the biggest pick that yeah, I think I made a mistake with. I think the Abyss is pretty good. We do already have the other Tezzeret, but ultimately, like, just being able to get one of those 2 Tezzerets, both of those are pretty good. So where are we right now? We're in my main phase? Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there, Nurgles. If I was able to get because that would be another live draw right here. Like, I could just grab him, I'd tick him up, he would then go to 5 loyalty, I think, even. Or no, he goes to 4 loyalty. So he wouldn't be You know, he probably would be that good. Or he probably would be good still on this board, because I could play him and then just send Selesnya Signet in for 5. That would put my opponent to 4. And that puts a pretty good clock on my opponent, even so. I do think he's good, and I do think that I just messed that pick up. The Abyss kind of slows my opponent down. It kills this Rifling Cloudskate, which might give us enough time to be able to Treachery. We've got a Treachery hiding out under the Isle here. What are some other things that we'd like to draw? I'm going to take a look at this deck list real quick. We go to Collection. Sort by Converted Mana Cost. Diabolic Edict is reasonable. Sower of Temptation means that we get to buy ourselves a little bit of time. Repeal buys us a little bit of time. Time Walk, we're almost at the point where we have to cast. So my plan is to... because Vintage Cube is kind of a limited time thing, and it's something I always find sweet. Do Vintage Cubes, and if I can win a round, then in the interim, while I'm waiting for my games to start, I will play some SoulForge. Probably only doing 2 Vintage Cube drafts, so there's probably not, if I just lose them both, if I lose both Vintage Cube drafts in the first round, I'll switch over and do some SoulForge. But otherwise, yeah, the plan is Vintage Cube, and if I win any of my games, to play some SoulForge as the reward for me winning. Though I feel like with this opponent, maybe we should just be playing SoulForge while my opponent's taking his turn. Alright. Xenagos, he's going to make a 2-2 with haste, and he's going to put me on a 2-turn clock here. Not sure there's anything I can do about that. I'll block with Goblin Welder next turn, but there's no point blocking with it right now. What do we get? My opponent's keeping double blue open, but I think it's just a... Ooh, baby, I love the way every day I want to be with you night and day. Ugin the Spirit Dragon, coming in clutch. Very sweet. We will have to -5 it. But... and I think we can cast it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we get to keep open 1 mana. Thank you, Nurgles. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. So, yeah, we get to... oh, it costs all of our mana here. Alright. Sweet. Ugin it is, baby. I knew this card was powerful. Hope it resolves. If it doesn't resolve, we just took 2 damage from Ancient Tomb, and now we're dead. Ugin is really good. Ugin is probably better than Karn, which is why I just snapped it off. Let's see, they're not going to like Gitaxian Probe it. I'll get in for 1 with Goblin Welder. We're going to attack him. This 1 damage is unlikely to be super relevant. And we're going to -5 Ugin. So I had Ugin last game, and I had Ugin Time Walk, and I could have just ended the game. But I decided to play 1 more turn so that I could ult, Time Walk, and then attack and win with everything that I got. Oh, jeez. They all come underneath Ugin. That isn't relevant, though, right? Yeah, it's not. Okay. Oh, he's done. He's done the turn. So what happened here last time, though, was my opponent just played... Yeah, I think it's definitely a higher pick than most other cards for sure. But my opponent played a Pestermite, end of turn, and then untapped and played Splinter Twin. My opponent has 2 cards in their hand right now. If they draw Splinter Twin in the next 2 turns, then they win. They can't play the Pestermite until they also draw the Splinter Twin. Here's Tamiyo to lock down Shelldock Isle, most likely. Is this my only land that does anything? Yeah. So, since my opponent and my opponent's Planeswalker both have the same amount of life points, let's just Ugin them, and then Lava Claw Reaches can take it up. So they need to have an answer for Ugin. No redirect. They need to have an answer for Ugin, and then they need to Tamiyo the Lava Claw Reaches, and I will then be able to have Treachery back up, because they won't be able to kill us. They can't kill us this turn. Yeah, they have to find an answer for Ugin right on the spot, and hopefully Ugin can carry us to victory here. Ugin's also sweet because when you draft Ugin, then it's like, alright, well, I just need to take these Signets now because these Signets are so powerful. And so I got like 4 Signets, but it turns out like Signets are also just good. So I drafted all these synergistic cards. I'm doing air quotes, but you can't see. Drafted all these synergistic cards to go along with my Ugin. Alright, and we are on to Game 3. What more did we see? We saw some Riftwing Cloudskates. We'd already seen that Game 1. My opponent pretty much played the same cards. Counterspell, Riftwing Cloudskate, Tamiyo the Moonsage, Pestermite, and Splinter Twin. So, does that change anything? I think not. I think we're going to go for it here and roll on into the next one. We will be on the draw this game. Frantic Search with Goblin Welder is a combo. That means if we can draw the Sundering Titan or Duplicant or even some fast mana, we can make some work happen here. I'm going to keep this hand. It is a little slow, no Signets, but when your hand is a little slow, but at the same time still potentially threatening a turn 3 Sundering Titan, maybe that's not that slow. Oh yeah, we also saw Xenagos and Chandra last game, so Pithing Needle, super strong. My opponent could have a Xenagos or a Chandra as early as this next turn here, which would definitely not be great. So I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen. I'm just going to lead with the Manlands. Yeah, Twin is a good combo, and alright, my opponent doesn't have a turn 3 Planeswalker. That is pretty lucky. Let's just go Goblin Welder. They can burn it out here, but that's fine. They don't have blue mana, so they're not threatening Counterspell or Electrolyze. Oh yeah, this hand's definitely solid, and Pithing Needle I think makes this hand a lot stronger as well. They are going to roast my Welder, so that's a little bit unfortunate. That's a new card for us. We haven't seen that yet. Oh, it's a sorcery as well. So now we just kind of play some lands, and our plan is to eventually get in with the Manlands. I was just considering for a second, is it worth Pithing Needling on one of my opponent's various mana rocks here? I don't think it is. Blue mana. That's unlucky. One more blue mana, they can cast Tamiyo. We can cast a Lodestone Golem here. Our Manlands really actually do a great job for us here in terms of threatening Planeswalkers. So that is actually pretty sweet. We'll just play a land and a Lodestone here. And I'll keep open blue-red mana to threaten everything in the world. Yeah, I think the fact that we had 2 Manlands in the hand also makes this hand a lot better. These Manlands are definitely really solid against Planeswalkers. Tamiyo now, if he draws it, he won't just be able to play it. He'll be able to cast it, but he can cast it, tap down Lodestone, and then I just Lava Claw and kill Tamiyo. So this might be a Chandra killing Lodestone, and then I finish it off with Lava Claw? Yeah. Manlands OP, baby. Alright, there's the Signet mana, and then 3 more mana for a Crater's Claw, X equals 3. Alright, sounds good. Well, he's used up his sorcery speed removal, so might not be in a, like, super great spot here. I think I am going to Frantic Search. I've got 2 lands in my hand that I have no problem with discarding. This just turns into a basic mountain, or I probably will grab the basic mountain considering both of these require basic mountain to activate. No, let's not tap the Signet. Let's just go Frantic Search off of these lands here. Keeping open mana for a potential Force Spike from my opponent. That is another really, really good card to keep in mind. Alright, so if I discard Island Swamp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I will play Bloodstained Mire, and then I will play Tezzeret the Seeker, because I want to play around Force Spike. Yeah. Alright. Untap up to 3 lands. Bloodstained Mire, and again, I'm not going to play Rakdos Signet here. Because I want to play around Force Spike. Oh, and you know what I can do? Then I can untap Signet. I'm not going to untap my opponent's stuff. Crack-a-lack this Bloodstained Mire. I will... yeah, I'll grab a mountain. I could want more red mana. And then I will still play Rakdos Signet. My opponent can Force Spike this if they want to. And now we're good. We've got a Tezzeret. We can hit my opponent for 10 next turn. If we draw another mana, we can hit my opponent for 14. Or I guess right now we can hit my opponent for 13. Alright, my opponent is going to their end step. What would I Trinket Mage for? I'm pretty sure I want to play this Pithing Needle and just name Pestermite so I don't just die. And then I Trinket Mage and I'll just go get the Sapphire, I think. I could just go get Hangerback Walker, though, too, at the same time. I'll have enough mana for that, especially because I can Tezzeret. Alright, let's grab Hangerback Walker, then. Signet Shuffle. So we bait with the Trinket Mage. They think the Trinket Mage is getting Pithing Needle. They decide they're just going to counter the Pithing Needle. I think Pithing Needle is actually the most valuable spell out of all of the cards that we have right here that could potentially survive. So we'll grab this. Let's untap 2 target artifacts. We are going to play around Force Spike here, just kind of incidentally. X equals 2. And then we will play a Pithing Needle. No Pestermite into Counterspell into Splinter Twin 1 time. That would be a pretty specific 3-card hand for my opponent to have. And let's just name Pestermite. My opponent has a lot of Planeswalkers in their deck, but none of those Planeswalkers kill us in quite the same way that Pestermite does. And yep, we're all done. Nurgles, why is your opponent screwed? And also, okay, my opponent is electrolyzing us to keep Tezzeret off of ultimate. Also, what game are you playing? Because I'm not sure. Alright, opponent electrolyzes Tezzeret just to buy them a turn here. Yeah, I'm not sure if you are playing Soulforge or Magic Online. Okay. You got him in a tough spot. Alright, and then my opponent has the Chandra, and they can use that to kill Hangerback? No, they're just going to try to draw a card with it. They get Flooded Strand. Beginning of combat. Alright, cool. They grabbed Flooded Strand. I wasn't sure if they had already played a land or not. Looks like they did. So, we can kill Chandra. I don't think we can kill my opponent here, though. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just get in with Lava Claw Reaches. And oh, or player? Oh, they used Chandra to kill Tezzeret a little bit more. Oh, good play by my opponent. I also just realized I could have... Oh, I still can. Yeah, let's untap these two artifacts so that we can pump up Lava Claw Reaches just a little bit more. Tezzeret's dead if I don't kill it. If they kill Lava Claw Reaches, they're going to be able to kill Tezzeret regardless. So... Oh, that means I can activate Firmaroll as well. Okay. So let us activate Firmaroll. And that also lets us leave open 1 mana to... Hangerback Walker with Tezzeret will make this a 7/7. The ability stack. The +1/+1 counters plus set power toughness. Yeah, Tez creates it into a 5/5 because right now this is a 0/0 with +2/+2. So it will become a 5/5 with +2/+2. Counters are always the last thing applied. So we're going to just make sure we kill Chandra here. Oh, I just realized by doing that, I didn't actually help myself in any way. No, maybe I did. Because now if my opponent has, like, a Searing Blaze, they can kill Lava Claw Reaches, and then we flip the Firmaroll. So, yeah, I think we actually successfully defeated it here. We're not going to die to Pestermite. Yeah, Tezzeret plus +1/+1 counters is good. The one thing, though, that is relevant, potentially, though still somewhat unlikely, if you make it into a 5/5, it won't then generate 7 Thopters, because it generates Thopters based on the number of +1/+1 counters. So that is a Firebolt targeting Hangerback Walker. So we're going to save Hangerback Walker, make my opponent do it again. They can now flashback Firebolt. I personally would have went for... Yeah, I guess they just wanted to tap me out for no reason. But if I was my opponent could have Firebolted me, and then Firebolted me again with the flashback to actually kill off the Tezzeret. What is not untapping here? Hangerback or Lava Claw? Firmaroll? What's not untapping? Oh, they drew 2 cards. Oh. Okay, pretty funny play by my opponent there then. Let's play an island. Let's... Do we have lethal? 5? No, we don't have lethal, even if we activate both of these guys here. So let's activate Lava Claw Reaches. No, they played Tamiyo the previous 2 games. They definitely know what Tamiyo does. And, They were, they Chandra'd and they electrolyzed Tezzeret, so they knew that they can affect Tezzeret with spells. They just didn't quite want to. What's interesting here is Firmarol deals... I'm still going to activate it. Firmarol deals 4 damage, whereas Lava Claw Reaches deals 5 damage with that same 5 mana. But I think that's fine. Let's give him +1 attack, and I'm not going to attack with Hangerback again, because Hangerback is a pretty good backup plan for us to have. My clock's at 5 minutes. My clock is still a little bit higher than my opponent's, so I think we're good. I've still got a good 10 seconds on my opponent, and I've been talking through all my plays and stuff, but I do appreciate it. I think we are good on time, though. Yeah, this one's going at Tamiyo. And let's switch this power and toughness and hit my opponent for 7. My opponent could kill the Firmarol here, but the only sorcerer... I guess that's not fair, because my opponent has played a lot of sorcery speed removal spells, but they also have only shown us one instant speed one. The only instant speed spell we've seen in all 3 games is the Electrolyze. So my opponent is going to do nothing and pass. I'm going to play Mox Sapphire. We cannot ult Tezzeret, so we are going to tap Sapphire, activate this, paying a red mana. Then let's untap 2 target artifacts. Wham bam. Then we want to activate Firmarol. I will answer questions about which type of clocks I prefer, so my opponent does have the Deceiver. This would be a pretty lame way to lose if they kill us with the Deceiver when we named Pestermite. They're probably going to just tap down Lava Claw, yeah. And... oh, you know what? I should have been attacking with Hangerback Walker, now that I think about it. Because I could have been untapping him with Tezzeret. Oh well, we'll just get in with these 2. My opponent could have the Splinter Twin right here. I think it's pretty likely, unfortunately, that they have it. Oh, I forgot to flip. Oh well. Now we're running low on time. There's the Splinter Twin. That's the game. GG to my opponent. Well played, brother. Alright, didn't quite get there. We will try again, though. I'm going to jump into another one. Those were good games, though, still. Good games. Next turn, Treachery wouldn't have done much. I think... so I only missed 5 points of damage. Or maybe I missed more. Yeah, so I could have been attacking with Hangerback Walker or activating it and then +1. I could have also been just activating it twice a turn rather than spending all this mana. And my opponent could have actually taken 3 more damage that turn, so they could have been at 7. My Hangerback Walker could have been a lot better right there. Yeah, it's close. But cannot win them all. We will jump into another one. So in terms of which kind of clocks I like, well, I don't think that League of Legends has a clock, but sure, we can throw that one in there. Yeah, there's probably a way to deal 7 more damage, just apply a little bit more pressure to my opponents. I dealt 2 damage to Tamiyo, though I think I did want to draw 2 damage to Tamiyo, or my opponent just gets to draw even more cards. Magic Online clock is pretty clean. However, like, Magic Online needs to use the Magic Online clock, but I don't know, it's not great. It also just, like, makes me sweat more than anything. Like, just seeing that clock tick down. SoulForge used to have a lot more disconnection issues. The clock is pretty good for SoulForge right now, though it's not just the clock. There's other things that go into it, and obviously, I mean, SoulForge the complexity is in a different place than Hearthstone. It's kind of like a puzzling game. Oh, I didn't join. But the trick with SoulForge, like, the games are still pretty long. To play about, like, to do a typical draft, which is 7 rounds-ish. I'm not familiar with the Go clock system. But the SoulForge clock system, it's good. I like the time bank idea so that you can disconnect and get back into it. That's pretty good. But I think overall games of SoulForge are pretty long. And that's without using any of the time on the clock. So I'm curious if the rope needs to be shorter in SoulForge. You could keep the same time bank, but just shorten the rope a little bit, because right now you end most games you don't use the time bank. When you have to use it, you're glad it's there. There's been games where I've used the entire time bank in SoulForge, though, as well. So I'm glad it's there, but it's a tricky thing to balance, because you don't want SoulForge games take a little while to play, and that can be a barrier to entry for some people. Now, Hearthstone games can also take a while to play if it's like a control matchup or something, and you have to think about your plays a little bit more, whereas the aggro decks can work there. The exact opposite of SoulForge. Okay, giant time bank. We are off to the drafts. I will be reading your comments, Nurgles, about time banks, but I might not respond to them. Karn is in this pack. It is pretty much an Ugin light. It's not as good as Ugin, I don't think, but Karn is like the best pick in Legacy Cube, and he's not the best pick in Vintage Cube, but he still comes in pretty hot. Phyrexian Metamorph is sweet. There's also some lands, but I don't think any of these cards in particular are that close in power level to Karn. So we'll grab Karn, and that does mean that we once again want to focus on signets and things. I don't think aggro is worse than control, but it's not as fun. You get to do some big splashy things in Vintage Cube, and if you just take the Goblin Guides out of the pack, then you don't get to do those big splashy things. Strip Mine is good, but I don't think Strip Mine is as powerful as Karn. Strip Mine is, I think, I don't know, it's a little overrated. Like, it's not actually better than Wasteland, because when are you going to strip mine a basic island in a format like this? Pretty much never. I mean, I guess you can cut them off a splash color. That's kind of reasonable. Pithing Needle I actually think is pretty good in this cube right now. What else do we get? Torrential Gearhulk for some random flashback. We could take Sylvan Library. Yeah, killing people is good, but so is some long, drawn-out, dirtily stuff where we Sylvan Library and Torrential Gearhulk. I'm looking at Gearhulk Ulamog and Library, and I think it's between Ulamog and Library. I think I'm going to grab Ulamog here, though. This guy's pretty solid, and there's a lot of things that you can do with him in every color, pretty much. I am going to take Bribery, because the last time I drafted an Ulamog deck, I died to Library, like, super, super hard. I played an Ulamog draft. You can check it out on my YouTube channel. But I did an Ulamog draft the other night, and round 1, I lost a game to Bribery. Round 2, I lost a game to a fucking Phyrexian Metamorph copying my Ulamog, and then I couldn't attack into it because my opponent had 2 lethal attackers, and then I got milled. So... Or no, I did attack into it, and then they attacked me back and they milled me. So yeah, I'm definitely going to take Bribery here. The card is just way too powerful to pass up. Ulamog is definitely below Ugin in power level, but it is strong in that if you actually get to cast it, it will exile 2 permanents, so it can come down and kind of protect itself in the same way that you would need something like a Planeswalker to be able to do. Wrath of God is pretty strong. We go Lodestone Golem and just go all in on colorless theme. I really like Wrath of God, but I fear we might not be playing white. So I'm going to take Looter Ilkor. Duplicate's also really good. Looter Ilkor is just a good control card. And it's good with different reanimation strategies and weird shit like that. So there's a lot of interesting things that we can do with Looter Ilkor. Being a creature is a little bit worse than being a Planeswalker. However, being an indestructible creature kind of makes up for that. It can still get Swords to Plowshares and other things like that, but it can't get Murderous Cutted. So here's where we kind of make the choice between Izzet Charm or Llanowar Elves. I think I'm going to grab Llanowar Elves. We might not play it, but it's a really powerful card in my opinion. There's also Goblin Welder, but I'm pretty happy to be able to pick up a Llanowar Elves here. I like that card a whole bunch. We could take Anticipate as a way to kind of smooth out our draws a little bit more. What else is there in this pack? Not really anything. Taiga works if we go Rug, so maybe I'll just take Taiga. Yeah, I guess I'll just take a land here. Sort by converted mana cost again. Alrighty. So we took Taiga, though Entomb does work with Ulamog. So maybe we try that thing again, where we try reanimating an Ulamog and killing our opponents with that. Most powerful colors in Vintage Cube, I would say blue definitely is first, and I would also put blue second, third, and fourth. I know white is the least powerful color. You definitely want to be in blue, though. Blue is just so strong. This card isn't super powerful. I think red generally opens you up to more fun stuff. And I think green and black are both generally pretty powerful. Let's take a Hallowed Fountain. I'm not sure what that pick was supposed to be there, but we can grab a Hallowed Fountain. Anyways. Yeah, both of these lands give us white mana, but what are we really going to do with white mana? The main thing that you can do with a Hallowed Fountain is play like a Windswept Heath. I guess I'll take a Disenchant. Don't think I'm super likely to try to play it, but it's a fine card. Gush is also okay. Terminate is pretty meh. Let's take a Temple. I think there's a chance I wander into Bug here.
Bug and Grixis are both options, I suppose. I don't like any of these cards that I've been seeing. Do we want a Force Spike? Sun Titan is a sweet one. I'm just going to take more mana fixing. We'll figure out what the hell we're doing with it in a second. Izzet Charm's a sweet spell. I'll take that. Got the other Ulamog. Got Avenger of Zendikar, which I think I value a little bit higher than most people. Got Underground Sea. And we've got Azorius Signet. I think I would like to pick up here in Azorius Signet. This Ulamog isn't horrible. Jace also isn't bad. Jace, Architect of Thought, this is a pretty good card. Yeah, we just want to grab the Signet. We've got a card in the deck. And need I say more? Hymn to Torok's good. Show and Tell is good. Spell Pierce, I think, is pretty reasonable as well. And then we have Dimir Signet and a Corpse Dance, which can reanimate Ulamog with buyback. We also have Karakas, which I think kind of does some work in this cube. Yeah, we've got 3 white sources already. I think I'm just going to keep grabbing Signets, though. We'll just grab whatever, you know, all these Signets, and then we'll grab whatever cards that the game lets us cast. This pack is pretty hot. Imperial Seal, Sheldock Isle, Ancient Tomb, Thran Dynamo, I think are the most powerful cards in this pack, and I think in that order as well. So, yeah, Karakas is good at protecting your Ulamog and also good at protecting against... I mean, it's not really good against Vendilion Clique, but it means it can't kill you. We'll take Imperial Seal here, though, and yeah, I'm excited for that one. I think we can make that work. So if we take out the Izzet Charm, we could kind of be in Bug, in which case we could grab another Noble Hierarch. Though we can also just grab a Thirst for Knowledge. Sheldock Isle is really good, and it's really sweet when you've got huge cards like Karn, Ulamog, and Bribery in your deck, which you typically do in the blue decks. But I don't think we need it. Here we could grab Sphinx. It's a good reanimation target, and it's good... there is also just a Signet hiding out here in the wings. Alright, I'm going to take another Signet. Maybe we do grab this Tezzeret this time. There is also Exhume. I can go turn 1 Entomb, turn 2 Exhume. That's such a powerful sequence of plays. And it's weird to be in this, like... That means I'm probably Grixis as well. It's weird to be in this... Oh, there's a channel here? Oh. Oh, shit. Good catch. I almost just didn't even see it. No, this is definitely what I want to pick up. I can probably still find a way to cast it. Tezzeret's real good, and Exhume is real good, but yeah, we want to channel out a huge dumb thing, and we'll just grab blue-green lands to be able to help facilitate us doing that. So here's where, like, Bloodstained Mire can now go get us green mana and black mana. So Bloodstained Mire is a fetch land. We essentially made Bloodstained Mire into Verdant Catacombs just by picking up the Taiga earlier, so that's why Taiga isn't horrible. Burial Rites is sweet, but we will take a Breeding Pool, help fix our mana. We can take a Temple of Mystery and just have all the mana fixing, and I think we will, because this this deck is kind of doing some weird stuff with mana here. Pernicious Deed is not great with all of our Signets. Maybe we wind up needing it. I'm not sure. Deranged Hermit is a reasonable card. Let's take Deranged Hermit. And we did get Jace, Architect of Thought on the wheel. So, yeah, we'll take Jace, Architect of Thought. I think that is a pretty decent one here. Not sure if we're playing Izzet Charm just yet. I do want to grab Corpse Dance, though. This will be our first reanimation spell. We don't have to go all in on the reanimation plan, but just having access to it I think is sweet. Burning of Zinni in our 5-color deck is pretty sweet as well, and we wield Sheldock Isle. Sheldock Isle must not be as good of a card as I think it is, but yeah, to get it here seems pretty insane. We also have the Abyss, which currently works in our deck, but Sheldock Isle, just pick it up, it's a freebie. Seething Song, Mirran Crusader. I'll take an Una's Prowler. I'm not going to play it. Wow, and Tezzeret Wield as well. We're getting a lot of the cards back that we want, which means it's pretty sweet that we've got... Yeah, Una's a discard, but I don't really like the card still. Yeah, Tezzeret's sweet. Oh, please tell me I got it in time. All right, I did, and we have Burial Rites, so we are 5-color. We are Bug... I guess we might not be red, but... Yeah, we're some crazy 5-color concoction here, potentially, if we want to be. Time Twister, while technically power, is pretty underpowered. Channel Emrakul, kind of hard to pass up on. Kind of hard to pass up on a Channel Emrakul there. We can also reanimate Emrakul with Corpse Dance, so we're doing it. This is an all-in Emrakul deck. Bazaar Baghdad's pretty cool in this type of strategy, and Rakdos Signet is sweet as well and on color. But yeah, we live in the dream. This is an all-in Emrakul deck, and I can grab a Mox Sapphire or a Tropical Island. We're gonna grab a Mox Sapphire. This deck is all sorts of crazy. We've got 9 lands. We've got 18 playables right now. I'm not sure. Are we playing Llanowar Elves just to help support Channel? I'm not sure that Llanowar Elves is in this deck. I'm also not sure that Deranged Hermit is in this deck. It's just like a double splash for Channel, which I think is still okay. Chandra's cool. Oh, wow. We've got Packrat, which is a cool discard. I don't want Packrat here, though. Tolarian Academy was actually what I was thinking. I have so many signets. This is going to be a soul land a decent amount of the time. But I think I just want to take Mystical Tutor. I've got a 2-card combo of Entomb, Corpse Dance. The more tutors I can pack into this deck, I think the better. And while Elves is really bad, it is important to consider that getting to the first green is the first step in getting to our second green. Yeah, I think we do want to just take Mystical Tutor there. Because we've got a 2-card combo that can just win us the game. We've got cards like Upheaval that we could tutor for if we wanted to, and I think we want Upheaval. Sheoldred is a pretty boss reanimation target. We could also Tooth and Nail and put 2 dumb Eldrazzers out on the battlefield. But yeah, Channel Upheaval is sweet. Channel Tooth and Nail is never going to happen. Channel Upheaval could actually happen. So I think this is an Upheaval deck. Yeah, Channel Tooth and Nail is just way, way too much mana for us. Lotus Bloom lets us put these cards out, but Demonic Tutor is Demonic Tutor. Verdant Catacombs also seems really strong. But I think we just have to take another tutor here. So we're cutting, we can cut Deranged Hermit at this point. Urborg is reasonable mana fixing. I know so many tutor effects, and I think they're all good. Like, they're good in conjunction with each other. Phyrexian Arena, Tomb of Yawgmoth. We don't even have any double black. I don't think we need Tomb of Yawgmoth here. Repeal is really good. We can channel Mind Twist. Channel Mind Twist is pretty silly. Do I just want to take the land, though? No, I'm going to take Mind Twist. We'll make something work with that. We are in Bug, and we've got access to a Tasigur. Bug and access to a Tasigur is really good. So is Basalt Monolith, and so is just grabbing another Signet. Think we just grab another Signet here. Signets are real good with Upheaval. That means we can cast either of our Planeswalkers or do our combo on turn 3. So black Signets are pretty reasonable too. We've got so much tutoring that our combo's good. Really, the only way that we're going to get our Reanimation live is the Singleton Entomb, but I've got 3 different ways to tutor for Entomb. I could also grab a Makeshift Mannequin, which means I won't have to tutor for the other half of the combo. Makeshift Mannequin is decent because this can't be targeted by colored spells, so we can just Makeshift Mannequin the Emrakul. There's also Smuggler's Copter. I'm going to grab Makeshift Mannequin here. There's a lot of potential cards to pick up in that pack. We could take a Bazaar of Baghdad here, which helps with the tutoring a little bit. I'm sorry, helps with the tutoring and helps with the discard. I think Bazaar's good. I don't think it is great. But I'll take it. I'm not totally convinced we're going to play it here. Oh, we have another Necromancy as another reanimation spell. Yeah, maybe I could have just taken Timely Reinforcements there. That might have been better. So I could take Necromancy as another reanimation spell, and while it's good, I think I'm just going to take Hissing Quagmire. I think we just want good mana fixing. Can Cabal Ritual do anything? I think Cabal Ritual might do some stuff. Anguished Unmaking isn't great. Let's take Cabal Ritual. I don't think I'm super likely to play it, but I will take it nonetheless. I guess Brain Maggot is fine against some control decks. We'll take it and throw it in the sideboard. Elves of Deep Shadow seems reasonable. What does Bring to Light do? It can play an instant sorcery or creature. So it can go get Channel. That might be good enough, even. And we are playing 5-color. So we could potentially Bring to Light Bribery, which would be super sweet if we can Bring to Light out of Bribery. Yeah, I picked up this Naturalist. I think the Nature's Claim would have actually been a more reasonable pick than whatever I took over it. Maybe I took the Cabal Ritual over it. So, how many lands do we have? We've got 12 lands, which means we've got 25 cards here. So we might want to cut 2 cards. If we do, those 2 cuts are probably Conclave National... Oh, right, we have to... Bazaar of Baghdad is a spell, not a land. Yeah, I do have Disenchant in the sideboard. Conclave Naturalists. Did I say Nationalists? Conclave Naturalists is a pretty reasonable sideboard card. Maybe we don't want Llanowar Elves. It's like pretty fringy. But I definitely want to play this channel. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, why am I playing Taiga? Alright, I don't actually have a reason to play Taiga. Other than Bring to Light, so I guess we'll play it. I guess it's the same thing. Artifacts are actually pretty plentiful in the cube. Our opponents are, at the very least, always going to have a Signet or a Mox or something like that. I think I do want Llanowar Elves, as crazy as that seems. I think Bring to Light may be the way that we actually wind up casting Channel. We just go like turn 4, Bring to Light off of a Signet, and I do think we want the ability to potentially Bring to Light Bribery. So, Boreal Rites, while a sweet Entomb target, doesn't actually do anything for us. This card can go into the graveyard, and then we can reanimate it. But this can't reanimate Emrakul. Yeah, we also have the Signets making lots of different type of mana. Yeah, I'm not convinced I want Boreal Rites here. It's fine because it's the only, like, permanent reanimation spell for Ulamog. But I think we're just going to wind up wanting to wait and reanimate Emrakul, because that's just so much more powerful. The Karn and the Upheaval, I think, are both good. I might not want Bazaar, though Bazaar is good with Shelldock Isle. If I can just go turn 1, Bazaar, turn 2, Shelldock Isle, put something sweet under it. Yeah, okay, we'll hang on to Bazaar. I think we've got ways to make it work. This can draw us cards. You know what? Tezzeret is actually a little bit underpowered here. Only thing he can get us is more Signets. Alright, yeah, Tezzeret's out, unfortunately. I don't think he's strong enough. So right now we are running 11 lands and 23 spells, counting Bazaar of Baghdad as a spell and Mox Sapphire as a land. He can make 5/5s, and 5 plus 15 does equal 20. I mean, a 5/5 is a relevant creature when it's attacking alongside a 15/15. I just don't know anything else that I would rather play over Tezzeret. I think Mind Twist is a little bit interesting. I don't think it's going to wind up being super powerful, but even just like Mind Twist for 3 on turn 3 is a pretty decent getcha. So, you know what? Yeah, I think that actually will be pretty good. I will be right back to throw some lands into this pile. This is all good to go, right? Speaking of go, looks good. 2 islands, 3 swamps, 1 forest. All right, how many green sources does that put us at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I feel like I might want 1 more green source. Maybe cut a swamp for another forest. We do have Urborg. Half of our signets are black. I think we probably still want Boros Signet. Just mana's good. How many black sources do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Splashing, yeah, splashing for the double green is just awkward with channel. But I think this is good. And we have a lot of weird lands like... Alright, let's break down this mana base here. Actually... So green, black, green, black, blue, black. This is nothing. And this is just blue. We've got green, green, blue. I guess we'll keep there. This is blue, 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 blue. Yeah, Urborg is a million black sources, though we really only need the one. Then we've got green. I think we're okay on black. Yeah, even when we put 3 of the black sources here and 1 of the black sources here, we still have the same amount of black sources as everything else. And then we're just playing these weird splash colors to make Bring to Light a little bit more interesting. Bring to Light Bribery is strong. And it can cast instants too, is that correct? Yeah. Can cast instants at sorcery speed. Yeah, like, Channel is also so much better in the earlier game. We do also have these that balance that out. If we add this. This gives us a pretty even mana base. And we've got a lot of we got a lot of double blue as well. Bribery, Jace, Upheaval, though they're more expensive cards. The fact that we want channel mana so early, though, I think is the ultimate I forgot what I was saying. I started thinking of something else halfway through talking. Not sure what I was on there, but let's do it up. I'm just going to edit the description here. Alrighty, and take a picture of this concoction here so I know what I'm working with. I don't think I will ever want to Mind Twist myself because Mind Twist is random. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to be doing that. Our main sideboard cards are really just Brain Maggot and maybe Naturalists. But those are reasonable sideboard cards. We lost the die roll. Ritualing out Ulamog, Karn, and Emrakul I don't think is actually out of the realm of possibility. I think this deck could potentially cast an Emrakul, though I guess that's much more likely to happen off the back of Channel. Ooh, okay. Well, we might be waiting a little bit longer for our opponent here. My opponent, if we look up in the top right corner, has an 80-card deck, which means they forgot to submit. So, yeah, they have to play with a big deck. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I think there's an algorithm that, so they like drafted 45 cards and then I guess 25 lands got added to that. So my opponent is kind of in an awkward place. So we get a free game win. We don't get a free match win, but we probably get a free game win. I think our deck is powerful enough that we will... I mean, if we think about it, we probably could have put all of the cards into our deck and then played something like a 60-card deck. We could cast that Huntmaster of the Fells and Disenchant. But yeah, it's 35 lands added, but that seems like pretty high, which, like, I'm not sure if the algorithm takes into account the fact that, like, you can draft basics. Or not basics, that you can draft lands in general. Because, like, if I drafted this, yeah, like, I wouldn't want 35 more lands to be added to my deck, but at least they let you play. You know, they could just say you didn't submit, you lose. GG. Alright, so my opponent decides to keep. We've got Channel and the mana to cast it. Or I'm sorry, they've decided to play. They didn't decide to keep. Now they get to see that they've got an 80-card deck. So that whole time they were just deciding if they wanted to be on the play or the draw. We're going to keep this hand, and we are going to hope to draw an Emrakul by, say, turn 5 or so. I will also settle for a turn 2 Karn. Ooh, look at my opponent over there. Playing a turn 1 Noble Hierarch, completely fixing his mana, and going off. Alright, we will just play a Llanowar Elves. Next turn we have Ulamog. Now, what's interesting is that exiling 20 cards from my opponent's deck doesn't kill them. But we will be able to Ulamog and completely cut them off green mana, which I think will be pretty good for us. Alright, they end their turn. Yeah, let's play Forest. Play Channel. Let's play Ulamog. Yeah, this guy actually knows exactly what he's doing. He's just like, well, I'll let my opponent exile 20 cards from the top of my deck, and then I will just destroy target attacking creature, or some shit like that. Or play a Channel, or play a Looter, and then crash for 1. Yep, I mean, that Channel turn seemed pretty good. Alright, that is a turn 2 win in Vintage Cube. I think we would have gotten it even if my opponent didn't have a 80-card deck. I think that still would have been a good game for us. I don't know why I keep trying to add more basics to this deck when I just need to submit. My opponent has 3 minutes now to trim his 80-card deck into a 40-card deck, and I wish him all the best with that. Upheaval isn't great against a green opponent, but it is good against creatures. It's hard to really judge anything based off what my opponent did. Yeah. On the play, that hand would have been, like, pretty absurd, too. And we did wind up drawing the Looter as well. Or maybe we had the Looter in the opener. I don't really remember exactly when we drew the opener. Or drew the Looter. Maybe we drew Looter turn 1. No, we didn't draw Looter turn 1 because I would have played it. Did I draw Ulamog turn 1 and Looter on turn 2? I think I did. Looter would have helped us draw into the Ulamog as well. And even if we lost our Llanowar Elves to a Lightning Bolt effect, we had double Forest. So that hand was sitting pretty. Yeah, turn 2 had to be the looter, otherwise I just would have went turn 1, Mox looter, turn 2, channel, and I wouldn't have played the Llanowar Elves ever. Alrighty, so we might be finishing this one kind of quickly, which would mean that we might get to play some Soulforge. We might get to do it up Soulforge style, dudes. Oh, what are you doing there? What are you doing there, Upheaval? Trying to get out of the deck? Alright, well, I took a screenshot of the deck just so that I would have it, but I guess I have to go find it now in my screenshots folder. Yep, there it is. And yeah, I'm just gonna crop this. I'll worry about that later. So we've got some big beefy shit. We've got the mana to play channel. And we've got the big beefers. So what this hand is missing is black mana and a tutor. I think we keep this. We can't draw... Oh, we can draw Mystic Tutor. Alright, so we've got 4 tutors, and we've got channel, and then we've got 10 black sources in the deck. So we can keep this. We need to draw some combination of that. Wow, my opponent leads off with the Mana Dude again. So it looks like their deck is actually reasonable. We will lead with Temple here and keep anything that's a tutor or a channel, bottom anything that isn't. And then we'll pass the turn. We also could have played Boros Signet there. It's not going to be too hard to make that Signet work. My opponent did trim down to 41, indeed. And they didn't attack. Okay. Well, I think... we can't play the Signet and the Looter here. Alright, that's a little unfortunate. I'm just going to play Breeding Pool and Mox Sapphire, and then I'm going to play the Looter. So if I draw something like Makeshift Mannequin off of the Looter next turn, that would be pretty sweet. Yeah, Looter's really good. We can bin the Ulamog because we actually just don't even need the Ulamog. And if we are able to draw... Alright, so my opponent has a 5-drop here. And they're playing a Garruk. They're playing a Thragtusk. Thragtusk is pretty decent. Thragtusk means we don't just win when we channel out an Emrakul. Alright, so I'm going to play an Island pre-combat so that if we draw Makeshift Mannequin, we can go for it. Always yield. Alright, Demonic Tutor. Also pretty good. Oh, wow, I'm so punished for playing that island. I could have went Channel Emrakul. No, I can't play Channel Emrakul. That is really, really punishing. I guess I should have played Taiga so that I could have Demonic Tutored into Channel Emrakul and win the game. As is, I can't channel out the Emrakul anymore. So what can Emrakul do for me? I can Demonic Tutor here, and then I can reanimate Emrakul next turn, or I can just hardcast Ulamog, exiling Thragtusk, and whatever my opponent plays next turn. Looter Ilkor can't block, so if I channel out Ulamog, I'm going to be going down to 5. I can still find the channel, but Oh, okay, and then I play some signets this turn. That's what I do. Alright. So I play some signets because you don't have to actually channel for 15, right? Just the remainder. So let's play Azorius Signet. I can't play both signets. Right? 1, 2... Yeah, I can't play both signets. I just have to... Demonic Tutor here. I go grab Channel. And then I can cast it. Take an extra turn. And it won't be dead. Alright. I think this works. We'll make my opponent sacrifice all their permanents. They can hit me for 5 and then 3. And then am I... I don't know. I'm still going to have to play something on the second turn. Right? Oh no, I can play Emrakul for only 11 life. So that'll put me down to 4. That missed attack with my opponent's Fyndhorn Elves is actually going to come back to bite them here. My opponent can also just keep Thragtusk in play. Looter not being able to block is actually really unfortunate here, but obviously Shadow is a pretty powerful ability on Looter. Right, yeah, currently he has to sack all of his permanents, gets a token. No, now he can just keep Thragtusk. So Looter would cost me 4 life. I think I'm still going to do it. I mean, I have to, right? And then we're going to see what I can get in the extra turn. Maybe I should have scryed. Maybe that scrying would have been better. Yeah, that Taiga would have been huge because it just would have given me an extra attack. Maybe my opponent will just concede to Emrakul. I mean, he's a pretty strong dude. Alright, 11 life. So this is going to put me down to 3. And I get 2 loots. I'm going to keep the Temple because next turn I can play Temple, scry 1, and then loot again. Let's yield to that ability. I do want to take an extra turn after this one. Alright, so let's get in there. Maybe I could have even attacked first here, though I don't think that would have been too likely to be relevant here. That's right, baby, that's an Emrakul. If he just lightning bolts me, that would be pretty brutal, too. Alright. Declare attacks. Let's get rid of this Boros Signet. Upheaval. That'll do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Do I want to get rid of Boros Signet? So I can Upheaval, then I can replay Island, Mox Sapphire, Azorius Signet, or just replay the Looter. Upheaval Emrakul is like kind of a weird combo. Because my opponent, though it's going to destroy all of my opponent's lands. We'll bin the Boros Signet. I think we're the least likely to need that. We can make the rest of this work here. Oh, wait. No, you know what's going to happen? They're going to keep their Thragtusk. We're going to Upheaval. And then they're still going to have a 3/3 Beast token. That's what's going to happen, dudes. No, because they only have 6 permanents here, so they're just going to keep Thragtusk around. I don't think we have lethal here. We have to hope my opponent keeps Beast Fyndhorn Elves. Yeah, we really have to hope my opponent sacks the Thragtusk. So do I want a Looter here? I guess I do need to scry because Upheaval isn't good enough. I think I need to scry, because I don't think this is good enough. What can I draw into? I can draw into Makeshift Mannequin as a blocker. I can draw into any reanimation spell to give me a blocker with Ulamog. I can bring to light Bribery. I think I've got better draws in the deck than Upheaval, so let's go Temple of Mystery. We're going to scry one. Put this on the bottom. Attack for 16. Hope my opponent sacrifices Thragtusk and lets us win the game in some more turns here. Oh, they're flashing something out. They're floating mana. Weird, alright. So they're floating some mana here. They're sacrificing Thragtusk. Alright, they've already decided that they want to sacrifice Thragtusk. They're thinking this beast wins. Yeah, I'm not sure what they were trying to cast there. They still have 3 mana floating, so they could still potentially cast something weird. But I don't know why they would be waiting till the Annihilation trigger to cast it. Like, they've had 6 mana open since we've played Emrakul. So the only thing it would be like target player sacrifices 2 attacking creatures, some weird shit like that. Yeah, you get to keep one of your permanents there. So they're going to keep the basic planes, and then we will upheaval their token to kill their token. We're going to hit them for 16 down to 7. And then we've got a little bit of time here to figure out how we're going to deal with this remaining damage here. Alright, so declare attacker step. If we just get a reanimation spell, that will also do it for us. They go Beast Within on the planes, so they're going to make 2 lethal attackers with their floating mana. This upheaval is definitely going to get cast then. We get Mystic Tutor, but nothing that we can do with it. I will still discard the Temple. We're going to have a bunch of lands coming back for us here. And now we shall upheaval. Cool. We got there. That's fine. And then I can Mox Sapphire. I already played my land for the turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so I guess I will Mystical Tutor here. And I will just grab... 7. Yeah, I guess I'll just grab Corpse Dance here. Right? Yeah, Corpse Dance is fine. It should be lethal. And then I've got to discard a card, and we want to discard not Emrakul. So let's discard the basic Taiga. Okay. This turn we can play... yeah, we want to have black mana next turn, so I'll just play Temple. That's a fine card. Yeah, my opponent's plan was reasonable, but it wound up not working out for them. Just rereading Corpse Dance here. Let's cast it. Reanimate our Ulamog. And hit my opponent for their remaining life points. We did it. Alright, Corpse Dance wins us the match. Nurgles, is your question because you don't know what Corpse Dance does? Or you're just saying, like, Corpse Dance lets Let's play it. All right, and we were the last game playing there, so we aren't going to have to play any Soulforge here. We are... the next game begins in a minute and a half, so we will just wait for that for anybody that is... Okay, yeah, so Corpse Dance is a reanimation spell for 3 mana, instant speed, buyback. Reanimates the top creature card in your graveyard. So that can actually come back to bite us. I'm pretty sure that it reanimates the top creature card in your graveyard. Let me double check that. Yeah, return the top creature card of your graveyard to the battlefield. So we do actually have to watch that. We've got a Llanowar Elves and we've got a Looter Ilkor in the deck. Our opponents can, in response to Corpse Dance, Lightning Bolt our Looter or something weird like that and kind of blow us out. It also means that if we discarded Looter to to hand size, our Corpse Dance would have not been lethal. Yeah, it's not great sometimes, but then what it also does is the creature gains haste, and you exile it at the beginning of the next end step. So it's got buyback, which means we can use it twice. The real reasons, though, that we play it are the fact that it's an instant speed reanimation spell, which means that we can use it to reanimate an Emrakul, and then that Annihilator 6 is usually enough to wipe up the board. Sometimes you need to annihilate them for 6, and then also upheaval them. Sometimes that's just what you need in the game of Magic. So sometimes that's what we got to do. We won the die roll. We will get to play first. We have a Demonic Tutor for Channel. We're going to keep this hand. This hand's got a lot of shit going on. It's got Demonic Tutor for Channel. It's got Orzhov Signet. It's got the Mind Twist and the Karn, and we already have the double green. The only awkward part about this hand is that our green source comes into play tapped, and then we have to choose between Signet and Elf next turn. But this is fine. Imperial Seal. So this means we could go on the other plan. I'm not going to turn down an Imperial Seal. Pretty sure we have to keep that one. I forget what we took over Strip Mine. Was it the Karn over Strip Mine? Yeah, Imperial Seal means that we can get both halves of our Emrakul combo. Obviously, our opponent here is a blue deck. So what we can try to do... Llanowar Elves is also a little bit fragile. But I think I like this turn going Llanowar Elves, Imperial Seal, and then next turn we can give a shot for Channel Mind Twist Karn. And we'll just Mind Twist their entire hand but one, and then slam down a Karn and take whatever's left. Or take one of their lands. I'd rather the Llanowar Elf not get Force Spiked if one of these two cards has to get Force Spiked. And yeah, I think I grabbed Channel here. If I really, really need to, I can Demonic Tutor for a Forest, actually. So, yeah, this is even relatively low risk. Channel seems solid, and that's why we drafted a deck with 3 tutors for that channel. My opponent goes turn to Pack Rat. I don't think that's going to be enough. We're going to Mind Twist them for 6, and then exile Pack Rat with Karn. Alright, so Channel. Then let's start with a Mind Twist, targeting them, pay the black, X equals 6. This is a crazy, crazy play. I think I like this, though, right? Oh, wait, I could also just Mind Twist them and then tick Karn up. I can tick Karn up because they're only going to draw one card next turn, so they won't be able to activate Pack Rat. Alright, yeah, so let's do this. X equals 5. We're going to leave them with one card. We got a Gush, a Tamio, a Go for the Throat, a Swamp, and a Diabolic Edict. And then I'm going to play Karn, and that'll leave me with 6 life points. I will tick Karn up. Make them discard something sweet. And we got an Animate Dead off of Karn. That's not going to do anything for us, but we'll be fine. So the other play would have just been to exile Pack Rat if I just Mind Twisted their whole hand. I think my opponent's going to attack me here. No, they attacked Karn. Alright, that's fine. So here I can Demonic Tutor and play something that costs 2, or I can set up to Demonic Tutor and then next turn play something that costs 5. What do we have that costs 5 even that I would want to play? We kind of want to Karn either their permanent or one of their lands. We could just Karn their Swamp, and then what can they do? I think Karning their Swamp is pretty reasonable. We can keep Llanowar Elves back on defense. Let's see what we're going to tutor for first, I guess. We don't have blue mana for Bring to Light, so I don't think I'm going to grab that here. But with 5 mana... Yeah, we don't really have the mana to cast anything here. Doesn't really matter, I guess, what we grab then. Just put it in our hand. We could just get and play a Sheldock Isle. Get a Hissing Quagmire. We could get an Emrakul so that we can restart the next game with Emrakul. It's 14. I kind of want to try that. I think if I'm going to get a blue source, then Sheldock Isle is the best thing. Just grab Emrakul. That sounds sweet. And then let's just exile Swamp. I think this is going to buy us enough time here, too. So now my opponent can draw a land, or they can draw a spell. They can attack. Now we can Karn them, and my opponent's in the same position. They can either draw a land or a card to discard. Oh, they played a land. Time Twister. Oh shit. Alright, well we got a game here then. Alright, alright. Yeah, I kind of just wanted to do some dumb shit, I'm not gonna lie. But we'll figure something out. Alright, my opponent goes Pack Rat. They're not gonna play the land into the rat. Alright, so my opponent caught me trying to do some silly shit here this game. Maybe we got a little bit greedy. What happens if we Demonic Tutor? So now I feel like I kind of do just want to play Sheldock Isle. It will let us Bribery next turn. And I guess we just kill the pack rat so that it doesn't get out of control here. That would also mean that we'd get to restart the game with pack rat. So, let's just get pack rat out of here. I'm going to play Sheldock Isle, which I just realized Sheldock Isle does work with Mystical Tutor and the other tutor. So what happens when you reset is you get to restart the game with whatever cards you've exiled that are permanents with Karn. So we'll start the game with a pack rat and a swamp currently. Alright, so we will cast Emrakul if we can draw... one more card here. Oh, never mind. There's 25 cards in the deck. So here, I think I actually do grab a Signet, because a Signet's going to give me a blue mana to activate the Sheldock Isle, and then I can start bazaring to thin my deck so that we can use Emrakul. Is Mox Sapphire better? They're the same thing. Sapphire is easier to use. Let's play Sapphire, and I will crash on my opponent for 1. We're just trying to do all the sweet stuff that we can manage to do. Yeah, so next turn, we will be able to Bazaar. We draw 2 cards, discard 3. We won't quite have it. We'll be 1 card short, actually. So maybe there was something else I could have done. Shadow Mage, Infiltrator. Might just clean this up as well. Clean this up and then Bribery. I think there's a chance my opponent even just concedes to Bribery. Maybe we don't want to show them Bribery, or maybe we do just want to do all the sweet things that we can do in this deck. Let's see. What's the safest play? I guess the safest play is just Bribery. See what we're working with. And then... I guess I could have led with Bazaar of Baghdad. Alright, my opponent has the Force of Will. So I guess I could have led with Bazaar, but that's still good to know about Force of Will. Let's exile Shadow Mage Infiltrator. We could have also exiled Swamp. Yeah, leading with Bazaar would have been a little bit better. We could have drawn, see if we could have hit, like, I don't know, there's potentially some cards that we could have hit, even so. We also have a bunch of cards here that we can discard. I don't know why I didn't attack for 1. Alright, let's Bazaar, end of turn, discarding Breeding Pool, Temple of Mystery, and Hallowed Fountain. And now I've got 20 cards in the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just play an Emrakul. I'm sure this will be enough to do my opponent in here. I almost just clicked no. How do I cast Emrakul? Oh, I have to click it right here? Weird. Alright, and let's yield to that triggered ability. Emrakul! Alrighty, begin sideboarding. That was all game 1. What a crazy fucking game. So my opponent has Force of Will. They've got Pack Rat. We did a whole bunch of nothing for casting a channel on turn 2. Or turn 3. It was a turn 3 channel. What else did we see? We saw a Time Twister. We saw a Tamiyo. So like Dark Confidant. I think there's enough cards here that we're going to want a Brain Maggot against our opponents. We don't really have any anti-creature cards at the moment. Upheaval Upheaval even seems different. Oh, my opponent is a... No, my opponent's a reanimation deck, for sure. They had an Animate Dead, a Dark Confidant, and a Shadow Mage Infiltrator as their looter of choice. Yeah, right. Dark Confidant, Shadow Mage Infiltrator, and Pack Rat are all good creatures in the reanimation strategy. This is only target creature card. We can't go Is it Charm. Yeah, there's not really much we can do against that. I might bring in Conclave Naturalist, though. It kills Animate Dead. Maybe that's better than Brain Maggot. What can we possibly board out, though? Nothing. That's the tricky part. No, I think Mind Twist is still good against a Reanimator deck. The fact that they have to discard random cards means that it still winds up being pretty good. I think we just have to really not lose to Pack Rat, and we'll be okay. Though I'm sure my opponent has other stuff going on, too. Our Llanowar Elf seemed great. They had no way to remove that. You know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't really see how I can change around the spots in this deck. Upheaval might not be super great, but it can still get us out of some tricky situations, as seen round one. So we're just going to go with the same thing. We've got the channel. We also have Entomb. We're going to keep this hand. But this hand, don't get me wrong, this hand needs to draw some cards still. We'll go with Forest and then Temple of Malice. In case we draw... well, Temple of Malady makes that play a lot better. We'll put an island on the bottom. We do need double blue eventually, but I would rather draw it. Right, this deck is great. Scoreboard. Alright, my opponent's going to name Karn here. Pretty sure. They can't name Shelldock Isle. Or no, they can't name Shelldock Isle. So yeah, Karn Liberated is now a card that we don't want to draw. Alright, and we've got Mystic Tutor to go get probably Makeshift Mannequin. You do have to watch out because my opponent has Force of Will in their deck. Let's just play Temple of Malice here, see if we can get any more information. Imperial Seal. Okay. Sure. Alright, I'm sure we can think of some concoctions to brew up here. We drew 3 of the 4 tutors in the deck. So, hey, deck says tutor. We goes to tutor, baby. Channel... you know what we can do, actually, then? Anywhere. Oh, that's sweet. Okay. So, I think what we do is we... Imperial Seal for Emrakul. Try to channel out Emrakul. If that doesn't work... The only problem with that is we want Ugin both in our hand... Or, I'm sorry, we want Emrakul both in our hand and in the deck. Yeah, Ugin isn't in this deck. Yeah, you threw me off there for a second, too. We're going to go Hallowed Fountain, not paying 2 life, and then we're going to cast Imperial Seal. And so I think I just grab Emrakul. If they have a counterspell for the... If they have a counterspell for the Emrakul, though... Or, I'm sorry, they could have a counterspell for the channel. Oh, wait, it's the same thing. I'm going to take... No, it'll work. It'll work. I'll take 4 damage next turn, go down to 14, but I'm going to make my opponent sacrifice all their permanents. Yeah, I think Emrakul is just the safest. And then, if this gets countered, I will have Mystical Tutor. I'll go get Makeshift Mannequin. And then the next turn I'll go Entomb and reanimate Ulamog. But we're going for the better plan A turn first. So I'm going to take 5 here, go to 11. Oh, great. My opponent's going to have too many permanents. How did my opponent get all these fucking permanents now? So I can play Emrakul. Oh wait, Emrakul would cost me 13 life. I did that math wrong. Emrakul cost me 13 life, so I needed Ulamog. Shoot. Yeah, I could have played Ulamog and survived. I can't even cast Emrakul here, though. Can I... Bribery? No, I can't. I can't even get up the mana to Bribery. Alright. I think we threw this one. Should have just got Ulamog. Backup plan is Emrakul. Poor Ulamog. Yeah, I messed up there for sure. Cabal Ritual would have been good. It would have saved me a life point. No, it wouldn't have let me cast it still. So Jace. My opponent actually has a lot more creatures now than I thought they did. Maybe we take out Jace. This now has 2 targets that it can hit, as well as just being a 4/4. You can Brain Maggot. That clears the way for counter magic. I think I'm going to put in Naturalists. We didn't draw any ramp that game either. Alright, so we'll play first. This hand's really slow. But it's an Entomb away, and we've got 4 Entombs in the deck. Alright, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, they really just played creatures, and we didn't come with a game plan for opponents that just play creatures. We are going to bottom this. We could draw a looter, but I'd rather just bottom it and hit a search for Entomb. Alright, Upheaval's reasonable. It means we're not going to die anytime soon here, so we can breathe easy. Creepy Tar Pit is pretty good, though. Creepy Tar Pit could get us. If we draw Entomb here, we can Entomb Emrakul, Shadow Dance it, or Corpse Dance it, and get him. Alright, well that's not Entomb, but it is the next best thing. Will we be able to Corpse Dance with buyback? Doesn't look like it. We'll just Breeding Pool, not paying 2 life. We can go and step Mystical Tutor. And then if that doesn't work, we've got Upheaval on the following turn. Yeah, Bob's a tricky card, but it generally winds up being pretty good. It's going to put my opponent to 17 here, but... Yeah, Bob is generally a little bit worse in Limited, because you wind up playing bigger cards. And the problem is, like, my opponent's deck actually seems pretty cheap, and now that I think about it, my opponent might just be playing Reanimate just to get Bob. Or just to get back their small creatures. Mesmeric Fiend. If we Mystical Tutor in response... Does our opponent know about Entomb? They do, don't they? I think we're just going to let my opponent potentially take a bad card here. We have Bring to Light for X equals 4. Bring to light for x equals 4 can get us nothing great. We need the red mana to be able to bring to light for bribery. So we will let Mesmeric Fiend resolve here. If they take Mystical Tutor, that's fine. If they take Corpse Dance, that's about the same. I'd rather have the Tutor, I think. And my opponent took the Upheaval. Cool. So we knew that that was always a chance. That's why we let our opponents have the option of taking the Upheaval. So my opponent's only going to have 1 mana open here. So we have to play around Force Spike, potentially Force of Will. My opponent might get a pretty big blowout on us here, but I think we still have to go for it. We can't just play around Force of Will the whole game. We can't get Channel. So we're grabbing Entomb, just double checking on all this. Grabbing Entomb, then we're going to cast it, and then we are going to Corpse Dance without buyback. Sounds good. And then my opponent's going to lose all of their permanents if this goes off. So let's see. We draw Entomb. We play Urborg, fixing our opponent's mana. So just to be safe, I want to have some... you know what? There's no reason to do this like this. Just play Entomb. We're going to put Emrakul in the graveyard. And then I'm going to cast this. Undo. Oh, pay 2. Okay. And then we Corpse Dance Emrakul. Yeah, then my opponent sacrifices their whole board. We get back Upheaval. We put them down to 2. And we're going to be able to Karn in like 2 turns here. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah. 2 more lands and we get to cast Karn. Whew, we did it. We reanimated the most powerful creature in the multiverse. Feel the power of the Aeons Torn. We get back our Upheaval, they discard all their cards, and we win the match. That's going to be enough for them to pack it in. Whew, okay. So we were pretty much just playing around Force of Will there, and we were able to do it. I am going to just edit this stream title real quick. So we're 2-0. I will be right back. I'm just going to solidify my dinner plans. And these guys are 1-1. I think we might just wait for them, but if we're still waiting on that game when I get back, then I might just play some random Soulforge games. I probably won't do a Soulforge draft because it's already pretty late here. But I will be back in like 2 minutes regardless. Okie dokie, I am back. I was actually going to ask you, Nurgles, if, when you were talking earlier, if you were asking if I knew anything about Constructed, if you were referring to Soulforge Constructed or Magic the Gathering Constructed. So... So yeah, I will pop up Soulforge here for a minute. I'm also just going to choose a filter. Why would I want to choose a filter? I want to crop this picture though. Done. Save. Alright, so I'm just going to have this in the background here. So this is the deck that we're looking at, if anybody joins us and wants to see what we're working with here. And then I will just play some Soulforge in the interim. So, as far as Soulforge Constructed goes, I am not too versed in Soulforge Constructed, but I do have a few decks. This deck is like okay, but mostly jokey. This deck is really old. This deck is a joke. This deck is a joke. This deck is a joke. This one I made for a specific kind of tournament. This deck is like, it's been around since the beta, but it's always kind of fine. Just Grimgaunts and removal spells. Ham Sandwich is nothing. Level Flex is fine. And then Wegu Level. So I've got 3 different... Oh yeah. Okay, so I think Wegu Level is probably the best constructed deck I have, though it's a little bit outdated. It's about 2 patches old, but I will still play it here. Dinos, I think, just got better again. There's a card called Brawn, if you know that one. Yeah, Burn and Poison are both popular, as well as just removal spells. Play Ruby Skull Dragon here. Dinos is decent. So basically the point of this deck, Aspirian Sage is really good. It gets to level 2 cards. And then Killian, the stats on this guy, they just recently made better. Oh, Dinos and Poison are kind of the same deck now. That makes sense. I mean, if you're going to play Uterra, you should be playing... you should be playing Shardplate Toxoid. This card's brand new, and it's just way too strong, so there's no reason not to play it. And then if you're going to play it in your deck, you might as well also play Leyline Vermin, which says if a creature with poison dies on your opponent's turn, you win. Unfortunately, that is going to be it for Soulforge today. Maybe I'll play one game to finish off the stream, but our Magic match just started here. So we lost the die roll. Our opponent's going to take a second to get back into the game. This is the deck that we are working with, though. Deck is pretty cool. It's doing a lot of really powerful things. And, I mean, we've got a 2-card combo with Entomb plus Corpse Dance or Makeshift Mannequin, with Makeshift being the slightly safer option, Corpse Dance being the slightly more controlling option. And then we also have the 2-card combo of Channel plus Ulamog, Mind Twist, Karn, and Emrakul. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 straight up tutors. Or, I'm sorry, no, Entomb isn't a tutor. And neither is Channel. I don't know why I counted Channel as one of the tutors for Channel. But Channel is kind of a tutor for Channel, because it's like you just cast it. Yeah, this deck is definitely greatest hits of Magic. I mean, when you're playing Channel Emrakul, that's kind of like the entirety of Magic all rolled together, because you've got Channel from the beginning of the game there, and then you've got Emrakul as the new hotness. This opponent is... So this guy just finished his game, so maybe he... and that went to 3 games, so maybe he is grabbing a smoke or taking a piss break real quick while he gets excited. Our first round was kind of a bye, so I hope our second round is not a bye here as well. But we'll just continue to take a look at the deck and talk about it. We have Llanowar Elves as one of our only 4 creatures, and Llanowar Elves is specifically in the deck just to help cast Channel. So that's kind of a weird one. This layout is kind of weird too. But this layout was so that I could figure out the mana base, and then after that it's mostly in order of mana cost. Alright, looks like our match has started here. So we've got Channel, we've got 1 green source, and we've got Emrakul. We also have turn 3 Jace, so we're going to keep this. Turn 3 Jace is pretty good, and we are just hoping that Jace, on turn 3, plus Temple, means that we can find a second green source before we go to too low of a life total. That has been one of the problems with the deck, is we try to channel Emrakul, and then we realize, oh wait, we need some life points to be able to do that. So hopefully we've ironed out all the kinks. We do need 1 more land just to be able to play Jace. Yeah, everybody plays blue-black in this cube. I think blue-black have definitely got to be the 2 most powerful colors, followed by... It's blue first for sure. Oh, Bribery's good. Bribery's good, but it's not as good as what else we've got in hand. I think I'm going to bottom Bribery. At the same time, our opponent is pretty likely to be Reanimation, because our round 2 opponent wasn't actually Reanimator, he was just creatures. Let's bottom Bribery. We've got Bring to Light if we really decide that we need to cast Bribery. Oh, that was another thing I didn't suggest. Yeah, Bring to Light with Boros Signet is a combo, but Bring to Light with Channel in your deck is also just a combo. That means that we don't have to... Oh, but we have Channel in our hand. We don't have it in our deck. Yeah, we have all 5 colors here. So as long as we can hit 5 mana, we can cast Bring to Light. Our opponent's got a Jace, which is a pretty solid looter. Alright, we've got all the mana we need. We just need to draw some green mana, or if not, we will just Bring to Light out a Bribery, I suppose. But yes, we definitely have all 5 colors here. I wonder if anybody has ever used Bring to Light to put a Elesh Norn out onto the battle before. Because that's what we're going to do. Tezzeret would be decent. We don't have him in the deck, though. We had the blue Tezzeret in the other deck, and the blue-black Tezzeret we cut from the final list of this deck. Alright, so my opponent main phase loots, tries to find something, discards a land. We hit Corpse Dance, which means that we have some plans if we hit a... whatchamacallit. I am glad that I bottomed that bribery. We really just need a land here. But we will just play some Signets, and we will play a Jace. You know what would suck here? Balance. Alright, my opponent force spikes that, which is fine. We got the red mana onto the battlefield. We don't need the white mana. We sequenced our cards correctly. We have enough mana still to play Jace. Bring to Light for Entomb does work. Oh, my opponent's going to take probably Dimir Signet, which means we won't be able to play Jace unless we draw a blue source. No, they are going to take Boros Signet. They know we've got Bring to Light, and they want to cut off any potential random splashes. Alright, and blue source? No. Okay. That's fine. Our opponent's got a pretty decent mana denial plan. If we Jace, we might just crack them for a mini Factor Fiction. We'll see. We're still really close to just winning this game. So I will not fret. Channel Karn is probably worse than Channel Emrakul, though we do have it as a backup plan. We do still need the second green mana here, though. If we really get in a rough spot and somehow we hit, like, we draw Urborg and another swamp, we can Bring to Light and go get Llanowar Elves, and then we'll be able to channel. Which I'm not sure that's what we'll want to do, but there is a chance. Oh, my opponent has Karakas. Did anybody else notice that? My opponent just quietly playing a Karakas there on the other side of the battlefield? That's pretty scary. So it looks like Karn might have to come out and eat that Karakas. My opponent decided not to Jace. Karakas is pretty bad, eh? But we can channel Karn. What else can we do? If we're playing channel, we really get to cast Karn and that's it. Whereas if we wait one more turn, we could just Jace here to Factor Fiction to make our channel better. I don't hate that. We're not going to be channeling Emrakul at this point. So let's play Jace. Alright. We're Jacing. I almost have these signets figured out. Jace might just get countered, which is fine. That means that Jace eats Counterspell. And now we can channel. My opponent is going to... Oh, my opponent's going to cast Armageddon here. Alrighty. Well, my opponent looks like has won this one. I'm not going to give up. They're going to play a Baneslayer. They're going to play a Riftwing Cloudskate, return target permanent. They're going to bounce probably Dimir Signet. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My opponent didn't go for the Armageddon. Now they're tapped out. We can channel Karn or channel Emrakul here. We can't channel Bring to Light yet. That doesn't do anything for us, so we would have to... Yeah, we can't channel the Bring to Light. If we channel Emrakul, we go down to 2. Our opponent has to sack 6 permanents. They get to keep around both flyers. We get another turn. We do get another turn with that play, though. This only costs 1 life, so maybe we go down to 1. Play Dimir Signet. We can't play Imperial Seal. Yeah, because right now I'm paying 14 life, so I could pay 15 life, play Dimir Signet. Next turn I will have 4 mana. What would I have to draw? Let's take a look at the deck list. 4 mana. Makeshift Mannequin isn't going to do enough for us. Upheaval is not going to do enough. We're looking for, like, Llanowar Elves. But that won't really do anything either. Well, Emrakul can't get countered. But the problem is Emrakul costs us 14 life and Imperial Seal costs us 2 life. In total, that's 16. So we can't Emrakul and then, like, guarantee draw something. So we almost have to go Karn. Karn will go down to 3. My opponent can kill Karn and then Armageddon. I don't think I can win unless my opponent makes a big boo-boo. My opponent might sacrifice Riftwing Cloudskate to keep more lands and not give us this. And then we just have to play Llanowar Elves to win. Alright, let's try it. Actually, undo. We're going to play Dimir Signet first. Alright, so I'm going to go down to 1 here. Well, because I could see them wanting to keep around Karakas. They're not going to know what we're playing main phase 2. They might just want to keep Karakas so that they can beat the Emrakul. So we have to attack them. Yeah. Well, we didn't draw Llanowar Elves anyways. So I guess it doesn't really matter. No, they're going to keep both of their lethal creatures. And then they're going to kill us. Alright. GG. Channel Emrakul has, like, never been good enough. All of our opponents have had a way to deal with Channel Emrakul. We can Brain Maggot. Our opponent has multiple counter spells and big game wreckers here. So Brain Maggot seems even a little bit more reasonable than our Force of Will opponent. Then what are we cutting? I think Bribery still has a shot to be pretty good. Upheaval, I think, is maybe the most questionable card. Yeah, Channel Emrakul costs a lot of mana. If we had Ulamog in our hand, I think we could have won that game. No, we wouldn't have won. We would have just, like, exiled... We would have exiled Karakas, actually, yeah. Exile Karakas and... No, we could leave Jace. Exile Karakas and Colonnade? Or maybe we exile Karakas and Riftwing Cloudskate, just in case. How does Jace seem? Like, it's a blue mirror, so Jace should be good. It did cost our opponent a counterspell. So maybe we cut Jace, or I'm sorry, we keep Jace and we cut Upheaval. I think Jace is slightly stronger. Yeah, it would also have 5 more life points, which would be huge, for sure. I wouldn't get the extra turn, but I'd be able to exile Karakas and Colonnade. And then my opponent couldn't really Armageddon because I would have a bigger creature than them. Let's cut Upheaval. I think Brain Maggot is going to be slightly stronger. I also like Brain Maggot in the sideboard because opponents are going to board out Creature Hate most likely. We're going to play first. We've got 2 tutors, 1 green mana, and an Ulamog. This hand's definitely a keep. We also have Bazaar of Baghdad. This deck's pretty insane. Let's lead with Temple. Our Scry is a Taiga. I think we want Taiga. Let's keep it on top. That's a green source. Green source is half the battle. I would love my opponent to play Karakas so that I can exile Karakas with Ulamog. Ooh, Thoughtseize. Alright, this hand's Thoughtseize proof, luckily. This hand is super, super Thoughtseize proof. We have 2 tutors. The most powerful card in my hand. Nah, I mean, Demonic Tutor's the most powerful card in my hand. My opponent just has to take Demonic Tutor here. They might even take Ulamog because they already know that either of these tutors can get Channel. So I could see them taking Ulamog, and then we will just be Demonic Tutoring for Makeshift Mannequin and reanimating that, I believe. This is quite the hand, though. I don't think I've ever had a bigger shit-eating grin on my face while getting Thoughtseize before. Sometimes, though, like, your opponent Thoughtseizes you or Gitaxian probes you. Alright, they do go for the Demonic Tutor. That is A-okay. We can Imperial Seal here. They're going to know that we're getting Channel and playing an Ulamog next turn, but I don't think that there's much that they can do about that. We're actually going to be casting Ulamog, so yeah, that's going to be pretty... It's going to be a pretty big game from our opponent here. We could hide the Taiga so that they don't know that we have double green, which would just mean we play Bazaar here. I don't hate that. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. My opponent won't have Counterspell mana. Just take a look at what else we have. Yeah, nothing else. Nothing else nearly that good. We'll take Channel. We'll play Bazaar. And this even allows us to loot with the Channel. If we can loot into a Karn, we can play the Karn as well. Alright, we're going to be able to take out both of my opponent's lands here then. And then we really just have to watch for Karakas. I might actually take out Jace Blue Source so that my opponent can't draw into Karakas. Yeah, this deck is pretty crazy. So we go Bazaar. If we draw 2 cards, we can discard Bribery, Orzhov Signet, and one of the 2 cards we draw, and then we get to play Karn along with Ulamog. So let's do that. Let's grab a Karn. Alright, we don't hit Karn, but let's discard Island Orzhov Signet, I believe. Yeah. Oh, we have to discard 3 cards. Let's also ship Bribery. And then we're going to channel. And my opponent knows what's up here. It's going to be Ulamog. My opponent has a Karakas. It's a little bit awkward. But if they don't have a Karakas, we won't give them the time to find one. And we will hopefully win the game in short order here. Ulamog only has to attack twice. Yeah, I'd rather just have the island than keep the Bribery and discard all of our islands here. And let's F6. What do you got, guy? No Karakas one time. No Karakas. Come on, baby. No Karakas one time. Fuck! They have the Karakas. Alright. Well, if they ever tap the Karakas, we get to hit them with, I was going to say the Corpse Dance, but the Makeshift Mannequin end of turn should still work. We are going to have to keep some cards in our hand to be able to use Bazaar, though. Yeah, no Justice in the world. Oh, great. So now our Makeshift Mannequin is really difficult to cast here, too. Shoot. Okay. So I could end step Bazaar and then untap and draw Urborg, Makeshift Mannequin it, but then I have to sacrifice it to Karakas, so that doesn't work. There's Emrakul. Emrakul is interesting because shuffling Demonic Tutor and Imperial Seal into the deck is actually pretty okay. I think I just want to wait a few more turns, hopefully not die, and hopefully my opponent will tap out for like a 6-drop, and then I Karakas. Alright, they're playing Jitte. That means we can only take 2 more hits. What does Mystical Tutor even get? Gets like, yeah, not much. Take a quick look, see what Mystical Tutor can get. And get the Corpse Dance, which is haste. But my opponent's not going to... My opponent's not going to fall for that one. But it could be relevant because we... The problem is once my opponent sees the Corpse Dance, there's no way they're ever tapping Karakas. Well, we have an out. If my opponent simply taps Karakas here, we can win. Otherwise, I don't think we can. I also have to draw the land now. Yeah, I need to hit more land drops. We don't have any kill spells. We did not draft any kill spells. I need to Bazaar because I need to hit a land here so that I can actually play my cards. Bring to Light's uncastable. Makeshift Mannequin is also uncastable. And Ulamog is just as good in the graveyard. Yeah, but I need to Emrakul. The thing is, though, I need to play my land before I activate my Bazaar next turn. Looter Core doesn't do anything because it just dies to Umezawa's Jitte, which doesn't even buy us more time. Maybe Bring to Light's relevant. No, we'll discard Bring to Light, Looter, and Ulamagi. The only way that was wrong is if I wanted to reshuffle on any of these cards. No, I don't think we do. So what do I have to do? I think I just have to get lucky. I think I have to draw a land, play it. All of this while also hoping that my opponent taps their Karakas. Yeah, my opponent's not going to tap their Karakas, so that's going to be the end of it here. They have to imagine that I also reanimate my creatures with the fact that they've seen the Bazaar. Yeah, it's super unlucky. My opponent just had the Karakas in their opening hand. So yeah, we take 2 here, go down to 4. My opponent has lethal next turn. Alright, let's take one last look in the deck. I don't think there's anything that could possibly get us out of here. Corpse Dance, Upheaval, Mind Twist. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Alrighty. That is it then. That's all she wrote. We'll just die. If we hit a land, I am going to go for it. There's a chance my opponent just concedes to Emrakul, like we said. That could always happen. So we need to draw a land, and then we need to Bazaar into Corpse Dance. There's the land. Alright, if we can Bazaar into Corpse Dance, and my opponent F6'd, or doesn't realize that they can Karakas Emrakul. Because some people just think Emrakul's got protection from everything. Alright, we didn't hit the Corpse Dance. We can't play Makeshift Mannequin. So let's discard Emrakul, Makeshift Mannequin, Mystical Tutor. Replay Boros Charm. Oh, paying 1 more. And then conceding the game to my opponents. That was a very good game, though. Very fun deck. And we didn't quite get there. I don't know what my play points are doing, hiding out in the corner here. Hey, play points, can I have you? Nope. Alright, looks like I'll never get these play points either for winning. But still a real sweet games there. Karakas did us in, and that's going to be it for me for the stream today. I will be back and doing some more cube drafts tomorrow, and I'll probably be drafting the exact same thing. This just seems to be the archetype that speaks to me. I've drafted it like 5 times now, and I keep just trying to reanimate Emrakul. So thank you guys very much for watching. The full broadcast from today will be on my YouTube page. You can check that out in the panel below the stream. And if you are watching on YouTube, feel free to check out the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/NoLuxGiven.